Hello, Internet. Welcome back to the Fast Travel Lounge. You're listening to episode 68. My name is Patrick. I'm joined by Saif. Say hi.
Hi.
And Steve. Say hi. Let me finish. That's
Some
that's
people
my
are
one
a
thing.
little premature. We can't help it.
It's true. They do have pills for that. And Steve. Say hi.
Yeehaw!
Yeah, well, had to do something. Here we are, episode 68. We are 1 week away from Nice. Any thoughts, gentlemen?
Nice.
That was actually so perfectly timed, oh man.
Get out of my head.
I live in your walls.
Ooh. Promises.
Try not to make it too hot and bothered. So the question is, Steve, have you returned to Earth after being blessed by the immortals of Pokemon tournaments?
To be honest, yes. But got a big proud announcement today. You'll be hearing it here first. But I finished building something from IKEA yesterday. So I will be leaving this podcast and be starting a craft podcast.
Arts and crafts, or just the crafts?
Just crafts.
Just crafts.
Not art type of guy. I'm a craft type of guy now. Though.
Yeah. Like craft mac and cheese type craft, or like space type craft.
Neither. Like craft is in building stuff. So give me the correct tools, a bunch of miscellaneous screws, perfect instructions, and twice as long as what it should take, and I'll build it.
Stephen, I wish you the best of luck with this podcast. And if you see this podcast get a Patreon immediately after you leave, there's no correlation whatsoever. Yeah.
I just want to float a couple of names by as well. I've got a list of 3 of them. So I've got Craft Travel Lounge.
I think it's kind of close to. I mean, I can see you wanted to ride the coattails of the best podcast, but I don't know if that's. Can we sue for that? I think we can sue for that.
Yeah, I think so. I was going to ask you that exact question. Do you think we can take him to court over it?
All right. So how about the second one? Fast Travel Craft.
I'm sensing a pattern here. Wait. Hold on. I'm getting a premonition here. Is the third one Fast Crafts Lounge?
No. What are you talking about? It's Craftopedia.
Oh,
Rats, that's actually good.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. No, take that one.
So you reckon Craftopedia Travel Lounge?
Okay. I was on board. I was on board with the short name. You know what? Watch me go to IKEA and build a legal case real quick.
That was a good one.
Yeah? Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's the same thing with like monkeys and Shakespeare. If you give yourself an infinite amount of time in IKEA, you'll eventually build some. Am I right?
It only took 67 episodes. Sorry, 68.
Meanwhile, Steve talking about taking twice as long as it should, and I'm just thinking of the Lego boxes where it says like 12 plus years, but you do it in 6.
There we go. We made it.
Oh, good.
Slow and steady wins the race, fellas.
What about you, Saif? What have you been up to? Not round the lounge talk, but just have you done anything to be a god amongst men this week? Don't say signed up for Hustlers University. Not again.
No, honestly, not really. It's been a very slow week for me.
Wow.
But you, Pat, you done something?
Thanks for the content there.
You said not to do the Round the Lounge bit, so I gotta wait. Outside of Round the Lounge bit, it's actually been a very slow week for me, and I've got nothing.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. I probably should have asked you that quietly before we decided to intern this forever to the internet. Awesome. What have I been up to? I am down in Wellington, which is probably why my mic sounds a little bit odd, doing a bit of filming, bit more shooting with the old video cameras.
You have a couch at home, Bart. What do you need to film down there for?
I have a what at home?
A couch at home.
That's true. I
get the feeling this reference is lost. It was like a weird porn couch reference, but whatever.
Yeah, and suddenly I thought about trying to like continue the bit, and I thought maybe I don't. maybe I put down the shovel prematurely this time.
But save it for next week.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, no. Next week I'm bringing 2 shovels.
Oh, right. I thought you meant 2 lounges. Hey, we're Fast Travel Lounge. Are we a porn podcast? You know what? I'm sorry. I'm just going to stop myself. Sorry.
We can be next week.
No, you know what?
Can't wait for next week where Steve comes up with 3 names for his new porn podcast.
No, that really takes fast travel porns. Just fast. The shortest podcast you've ever listened to.
Fast crying emoji. Anyway, why don't we jump to Around the Lounge for this week? Steve, outside of trying to find yet another hobby, which you won't find any sort of fulfillment to your life on, what have you been up to this week?
Well, Pokemon Stadium came out for the Nintendo Switch Online like a couple of hours ago. So naturally,
you clocked it.
Well, no, I started it up and I got a little bit sleepy picking my Pokemon, so I had a bit of a nap and then I went for a walk and I got into playing it. So I put about 45 minutes into it.
I love the stunning endorsement of I booted it up and fell asleep.
In my defense, I was a sleepy boy. I had a big Easter egg. Literally chocolate and meat is the only thing I've eaten in the last 4 days, so it's probably not the healthiest thing.
Not even any potatoes, jeez.
No, the potatoes were also chocolate.
Ooh. I could get behind that.
Something. Yeah, it's like a French fry, but it's anyway. Yeah, I've also got to lose 10 kilos and get an 8-pack in 2.5 weeks because I'm going on a boat trip. And I need to look my best, but oh well, that's tomorrow's problem.
Have you tried looking my best?
No, thanks. No, thank you.
Come on, man.
There's a reason we do this as an audio medium. A face for radio, as they say.
Could have humored me or like anything, but no, just throw me under the bus. It's fine.
Yeah.
Steven's best is a lower bar to hit.
You know what, Based? You know what, Saif? You're back to being my favorite editor.
Yes, I knew it'd happen one of these days.
I mean, you were always top 5. Got to give you that, but you might have just clinched it back.
Doesn't that make me the second best editor?
No, bro, you're top 10 at best.
You're not an editor. You're a builder.
Hang on, I might get another hobby. I did enjoy, anyway. So I played Pokemon Stadium, and now I know it was about 6 weeks ago I did a woe long first impressions, but I played more of it, and I can give a second impression, for lack of a better word.
You know what they say, second time's the charm. Wait, hang on. No, I'm sure it'll be fine. Anything else? I
don't know. Do you need anything else? I'm seeing the Mario movie tomorrow.
Do I need anything else? I mean, no. Hopefully, this is all stuff you're volunteering, but...
Yeah, if you're talking about general achievements, I 100%ed Dragon Ball Kakarot, I 100%ed Borderlands 3 and all of its DLCs.
Oh, why though?
What do you mean 100? Wait, hang on. What do you mean 100? You know what? No, I'm going to ask you about that. That's we're gonna have a chat.
This is going to be a long episode. Sorry, everybody.
Saif, what about you? What have you been up to?
I started just a little bit of Wo Long last night. I played a little bit before this recording as well, but it's still like halfway through the first real level of the game. So not a lot for me to talk about, but I do have a little couple of things I want to touch on there. And how about you, Patrick?
Ah, shit.
Wow, that was cute. Thanks, guys. Makes me feel included. What have I been up to this week? So taking a page out of the esteemed leader Josh handbook, I'm going to do an album of the week, but in reverse. We'll explain what I mean by that when we get to it.
Hang on, let him cook.
Yeah. Let me cook. So I got the gas on high. Been inhaling it for the past hour, feeling really sleepy. And also
me playing Pokemon Stadium.
Huffing petrol really just makes it, you know. And also play a little bit more of Celeste. And I have a couple questions that I want to get your thoughts on. So why don't we bounce straight into like the episodes of old, an album of the week. Now this is the reversal part. In the last 24 hours, or at least I've been checking it roughly every couple of days, so it could have been in the last 48 hours. One of my favorite artists, Daughter, has finally released their long-awaited, I think this will be their 4th album, because technically one of the albums was Before the Storm soundtrack, but it is called Stereo Mind Game. It's very recent, and I've only listened to the tracks that they've released as singles so far. And I, at the end of work today, saw that it was out, and I have not had a chance to listen to it. But if you at home are listening, if you at home, hopefully you are listening, looking for something else to listen to for the next week, give that a listen, because I will definitely be talking about that a week from now on the nicest of episodes with the nicest of artists. So that is my reverse album of the week. Why don't we? Unless there's any comment from you two. Yeah, go on.
It's a little surprising, but it's also sweet of you that your favorite artist is your daughter.
Ignore it. We're in very dangerous territory, Pat.
I'm just surprised at your age you have a daughter that can put out an album.
Before you are two paths.
My mum sends you to jail.
Go straight to jail.
The second one leaves the joke hanging there.
Future Saif, edit in crickets and move on.
Absolutely not. I'll edit in a laugh track.
Okay, you know what? Unfortunately,
In the
Saif,
laugh track. What are we? The Big Bang Theory?
you've slipped back down the top 5.
Wait, does
What's
Seinfeld
the
have
deal
laugh
with
tracks?
daughters?
I know Friends does.
Friends does. I don't know if Seinfeld does.
Yeah, no, I think that one might be more leaves it open for people to laugh at home, and it just makes awkward pauses in the show.
Okay, you know what's tripping me? It's the fact that there's a lot. Well, it's not really a laugh track. It's the fact that every episode is bookended by his stand-up bits, which have laugh tracks.
Yeah,
that's what I
laugh
think
tracks
of
and people
Seinfeld.
laughing.
And so now I'm not sure if like that laughter is just in the stand-up bits or if it's also in the show.
Homework for next week.
Okay, so for those following at home, your homework for this week: 1, listen to Stereo Mind Game by Daughter. 2, watch every episode of Seinfeld. There will be a quiz on this. It will count towards your final grade. Anyway, why don't we move on to some Wo Long chat? I don't know which of you wants to talk about Wo Long first. I will let you fight to the death, and I'll come back in 5 minutes. Let me know who won.
Well, good, because I've been playing Wo Long for longer. I've got my my parry windows pretty good, so I reckon I could smash that. And then beat him at Wo Long as well.
I was thinking since I'm at the beginning of the
Hang
game,
on.
maybe I should start, and then you can go into deeper off the bat of what I say.
Sure. I'm conscious of not spoilering you. Actually, you know what? Spoilers don't really count. I still don't really think I understand the story. But yeah, there's just a couple mechanics that you probably don't have access to. And actually, it probably might be a good conversation because there's a couple of things that the game doesn't really explain to you, but you sort of just figure out by like getting flogged quite consistently. So you start with what your impressions are, and then I can sort
is
of
that
give
the process by how you figured out how to use the IKEA product, Steve? Get flogged until you figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, there's a bunch of holes, there's a bunch of screws. If you put it, you eventually get things together.
Third time is the charm, as they say.
Yeah, like the screws are there. You got a hammer. You fix itself up. I don't know why I called it a screwdriver. It didn't help me drive my car, but whatever.
It did screw you over, though.
Hey, it screwed me. Didn't even buy me a drink first, eh?
Hey. Anyway, so about smashing Saif.
Ooh, no, that's next week.
Fuck off.
Nice.
Okay, Wo Long, go.
Wo
Yeah.
Long go.
So for people at home that need a refresher on what Wo Long is, it's basically Neo, but set in China during the Three Kingdoms era, and it's a little.
And what if hypothetically someone wanted a refresher on Neo?
If you need a refresher on Neo, that is a Souls-like game like Dark Souls or Elden Ring, but more leaning towards an action game rather than the RPG elements, or like having the heavy weight and punishment windows, and more towards having good feeling combat. Is how I'd put it.
I wouldn't say good
Big
feeling.
call.
It's faster paced like without getting this becoming a rule of Neo. It's faster paced combat than Dark Souls, but it is a bit more punishing like that. Plus, you've got I think Neo had like weird bonfire things as well, and you spend that sort of currency to level up, and it did have like a weird sort of loot mechanic.
Yeah, the loot mechanic's kind of weird in all of these Neo-like games.
But, counterpoint, were you tarnished and maidenless?
No,
No,
and
that's Elden Ring. All right, so let's just sort of skip the Dark Souls references. That it is true, but I think the more I spend with Wo Long, the more I feel that the path has diverged, and they've already got their sort of they chose Dark Souls as their starting point, and they've gone their own separate way.
Yeah, no, they've definitely done that. It's been evident since Neo 2 that they've done that.
Haven't played it.
It's just every new game they make goes further and further towards just them doing their own direction. Like Stranger of Paradise they did last year, and that's just very different from Neo and Dark Souls in its own right, but more towards the Neo side. And Wo Long is still branching into its own sort of direction as well. It's a lot more loose and flowy than the Souls games are, and everything just kind of flows into each other. Like instead of having a parry, it feels more like a deflection of the enemy's attacks, and you roll around them as you're doing it. It's a
I'd say not really, because like and this is probably because you haven't played that much.
It depends on the attack, because regular attacks feels like you just kind of deflect them out of the way and move around the enemy, while bigger attacks from enemies, you actually do a parry and a punish with it.
Yeah, and the parry opens on the little attacks. I probably see it a bit more because I've been playing it. But on like if the enemy does like I think it's called a soul attack, and it like glows red, that sort of borderline staggers them, and you can do a couple more hits, and then that sort of they've got like a stagger meter, and if that stagger meter fills up, you can do like a finishing attack. And I know that I'm stealing your thunder, so I'll stop you. I'll let you just explain.
No, that's fine. I actually do kind of like the stagger meter as well, because they use it in interesting ways where you build up your own stagger by using your spells. So like you have these powerful abilities you can use, and the instead of having like a regular MP cost, it's like, well, if you're using these, it makes it easier to put you into a stagger state if you fuck up and the enemy hits you.
Speaking of those spells, I'm just going to like interrupt with it when you say things. You think those spells are cool now? You will not use them later in the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're like the cost for what they do, and maybe this is just my play style. The cost to the stagger meter, the charge up time they have, the damage they do is not worth it.
Okay.
There are a couple of instances where like because one of my favorite is to use like a fireball thing, and it sort of inflicts a bunch of damage on enemies, but it doesn't. The charge up time, the increase of I think it's the spirit gauge is officially what that stagger meter is called. It's not worth it. Like it's better just to keep going attacking, or just I feel that it ruins the flow of the combat. There are a couple of times in bosses I've definitely used it to, especially just sort of if their stagger meter is like very close to the line, I'll chuck like a quick fireball. But I find zero reason to use it. Like it's literally just sort of sitting there.
There's a bit of there's a potency thing at the moment where I'm using them, but they're not as effective as they should be because I'm still really early in the game. So I'll hit a boss with a fire move and it'll build up the bar, but I've never been able to max out the bar so that it gets the full fire bonus damage on them. Same with acid and poison damage. I know from playing the alpha that I can build it up when I get more proficient into those spells and they get stronger. So they'll work fine on boss fights, but I'm not really into using them on regular enemies. But the things I really wanted to touch on was last night I played for about an hour. I spent about half an hour on the character creator because it's a really in-depth character creator. They give you a lot of options in there, and it's a lot of fun messing around with the options that they give you. And then I spent half an hour on the tutorial level. The tutorial level brings in the boss fight from the alpha demo that they showed off last year. So I already had a little bit of practice against him, and it didn't take me all that long to beat him. He did beat me like 4 times, I want to say. But then, I just got his pattern down again and took him out. Something I didn't like though is that during that first boss fight, they throw up a tutorial for you to use your summon, and it doesn't even pause the combat. It just throws up the tutorial, covers half the screen, and it was in the middle of one of the boss's big attacks. So I almost got completely killed off in that fight because of that tutorial popping up for that summon mechanic. And doing that also just ends the boss fight. So real weird place to put that in. Almost got killed for doing the for the tutorial of the win condition. But
that'll teach you.
At the moment, I'm about halfway through the first real level, and I just got the summon mechanic for real now. And I don't know. It's feeling.
So what do you mean? What do you mean by summon mechanic?
It's the mechanic where you can summon a spirit animal.
Yeah, the divine beast summon. Okay,
that's
cool.
right.
Wonderful.
Yeah, they're called a divine beast. I just got the horse one. That's the first one you get.
Yeah,
as in Zelda divine beast.
No, these are like spirit animals that just come out of your talisman you've got as part of the story.
Sounds kind of like the powers that you get when you defeat the divine beasts.
Not really. There, like it's literally goes to like 2 or 3 seconds. Even though like there's like 5 in total later on, and some of them do like fire damage and sort of scatter fire around. One of them sort of does water damage and then detects other enemies on the screen. Like they can change the course of a fight, but I would not say that they're like those Breath of the Wild Divine Beast powers. They're not for exploration. They're only for combat.
Yeah, and again, feels like something that you'll only use in boss fights, but that's, again, just speaking from the alpha demo when I tried that. Still too early to say for now. What do you think, Stephen? Something that's only really used for boss fights?
Oh, nah. If I get like sort of like crowded, or if there's like a semi-stronger enemy that's got like a bit more health, or if I sort of get lazy with like instead of Estus Flask, there's like Dragon Cure Pot. And there's when you use it, there's like a second or two of like invulnerability, so you can sort of use that to sort of get out of a bad situation and sort of clear it.
That sounds fair.
Yeah, and like you charge that up by like attacking enemies, so it does sort of feel like you've got to earn it. Like it's not something you always have available, but it's like, okay, cool, I've got it. I've got to remember when to use it, because there are definitely in some of the longer levels, it's like, oh yeah, I had this for a while, I just never used it because I didn't really feel like I needed to.
Yeah, and you can probably pop it like pretty frequently throughout a level if you keep remembering you have it, and then build it back up. Because levels are decently long.
Yeah, they get longer as you go on. There are a couple of like, you're not up to it and you won't know this, so this is a spoiler. But there are like side battlefields that are like very short, and like those are a very good palate cleanser from those levels. But that's probably a bit of a sidetrack that we don't really have to get into. There are side quests that do exist. There's separate battlefields because it's sort of it's set everything up into levels which they call battlefields, and those sort of do become like a really good palate cleanser, especially after like a really long level with a really hard boss. You can go, okay, cool, I've got this little battlefield that like will take me 5 or 10 minutes to complete, and it's got like a smaller boss at the end that's like semi easy. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that sounds neat. All right, so I'm playing this on PC. It's not the greatest of ports. It's not as bad as it was at launch, as far as I can tell. But I'm still getting minor hitches every now and then, and it really sucks when I get a hitch in a boss fight. I can deal with it. It's not great, but kind of wish that this was fixed, especially since I'm doing all the little tricks you can do to try and get it as infrequently as possible, but it's still happening every now and then, and it just kind of ruins the experience.
So what do you mean? What are you talking about? Are you talking about crashes? Are you talking about graphical bugs?
It's just the picture stuttering for like a frame, basically.
Yeah, I know
that'd be rough.
Feeling.
Yeah,
that'd be fucking rough, especially in some of those moments where it's like, oh shit, like that literally probably fucked me up. That's fucking rough.
It sucks when it happens against one of those soul charge moves, because you see them charging up, and then the next frame is they're basically in front of you doing the attack.
Ugh, yikes. But how are you enjoying it? I probably very limited in if you actually are enjoying it.
No, it's fun. I still feel like I feel like this is the easiest of this type of game I've played, though. It like the deflection parry window feels really, really open. Like you've got a lot of this feels like you've got a lot of time to do it.
I feel like it's the opposite. I find like if it's like and maybe that's just sort of because each weapon you use changes the parry window slightly from it's like 0.1 of a 0.2 of a second. I find that I'm always like, until I get the rhythm of, especially in boss fights as well, until I get into the rhythm, I'm like, oh shit, like it's going to take me a couple of tries to get the timing.
Yeah, no, I was doing pretty okay with it. The second boss was like this big demonic monkey, and I was parrying most of its attacks pretty easily right away.
Oh yeah, that's a very easy one. That's in my defense. It's that one sort of. I think that's a false flag because I had like no problem with that whatsoever. And you get into the next real boss, and it's like, well, man, I'm getting flogged.
Okay, when I get to that next boss, maybe it'll be harder. But yeah, even regular enemies, I feel like, has been relatively easy doing it. Maybe it is just the weapon I'm using. I'm using that first boss's weapon in this level. So maybe
The big
that
hammer,
way-
isn't it?
the big spike hammer.
Yeah, no, that's fucking fantastic. I used that for a while.
Yeah, it's a really fun weapon.
Well, yeah, that takes us to my thoughts on the weapons because I think they are one part the best and one part the worst thing in this game. There's about like 10 or 11 different.
I'm going to be honest with you. A statement like that, you better have a 3-course meal cooking.
I can give you at least an entree. So
There's a garlic
is-
bread.
Nope.
Damn.
Is
I'm
it
less
like
interested.
Olive Garden breadsticks?
I don't know. I've never been to Olive Garden. This isn't an American podcast. So there
Are they breadsticks? Yes or no?
Sure, why not?
But they're not garlic bread. They're sticks of bread, but not garlic bread.
There is no garlic whatsoever.
Patrick, you're making this worse for me by the minute.
Okay, I'm just moving this conversation along. So there's about 11 or
My
12
boy's
different,
cooking.
There's about 11 or 12 different weapon types. Everything from like spears, halberds, swords and scepters, hammers.
Monster Hunter did it better.
Dual swords, dual scepters.
Yeah, fuck, Monster Hunter did it way better.
Dual halberds. It's got like a bunch of them. And within each of those things, there's different, like, as we said before, there's a bunch of loot that drops. And the weapons can be ranged from like 1-star to 4-star.
Oh boy, here we go.
Yeah, it's exactly what you think it is. So the 1-star weapons are pretty much like, oh, that's your standard weapon. Whereas a 4-star weapon will have like a bunch of different effects. Like
it will literally suck you off while you play it.
Pretty much. And I was literally, I wasn't struggling, but I didn't know which weapon I
Struggling
wanted.
to keep focused on the game? Yeah, we've all been there.
Especially when you get in the double scimitar, lucky. Like, yeah.
Double halberd spirit siphon.
That's why I've got like anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm going to say it. So it definitely, I was definitely having a bit of problems. And then I got like a 4-star, I think it's a spear, and it does fire damage. And that's a very rare type of thing. And not only does it do fire damage, but it increases fire damage by 10%. So I'm doing fire damage, and then I'm increasing that damage by 10%.
Yeah. One of those like self-stacking type weapons.
Yeah, so it's like it's stacking, and then I've like the.
And if you have the fire summon as well, you've just also innately got like a passive buff that increases fire damage.
Yeah, which is what I've got. And also the armor I'm wearing has the same sort of loot mechanic, and then that sort of increases the amount of fire damage plus my damage to enemies with negative effects. Plus it reduces the amount of time. Increases the amount of time that it actually does like burns damage because I'm doing fire damage, it's stacking with burn, and then like after 3 hits, they're on fire and they're taking damage. So it's pretty much like it is a very good weapon, and I've had it for probably about 3/4 of the game. And then I want to go to a different weapon to try something else, and it's like, well, it's really not doing enough damage here. Like,
yeah, because you've tasted the sweetness.
Yeah, and it's like, well, why would I bother changing? Like, this is a really good weapon, and I sort of understand that it's like if you find something good, don't sort of throw it away. But at the same time, it's given me so many different types of weapons. I want to stop and change and all that type of thing. So then I will stop and change and do something else. And it's like, well, number one, I'm not really used to this weapon's timing. And number two, even if I do get used to it, it's very much, oh shit, like I really, like not really doing much damage. But I get the feeling that's just, that's sort of how the game's designed to be.
I know that Seth's been like waiting to talk for a minute, but it's just much more fun to just continually interrupt him. With weapons, are they, so you say you have a 4-star weapon, you've been using that for like most of the game. Is the leveling mechanic the star, or are they also locked to like a 4-star weapon you find early is worse than a 4-star weapon you find late? Do you know what I mean?
There is an upgrade mechanic. So you find essentially crafting materials that you can use to upgrade your weapon. So let's say you get a +3 sword. You can use rank 3 steel to upgrade that to +4, and then so on and so forth. So I think
as far as I know, because this is a constant in the other Team Ninja games, that's just a trap. Don't do that. Like this is for the audience. Don't do that. It's a trap. It's not worth the time.
Steve's now starting to sweat.
I think that's you don't, because it is very generous with giving me the crafting materials. There's no reason not to use that. And like you'd only, because like my weapon's +8 now, but the enemies are only dropping +6 and +7 weapons. And there's a shop you get to, like a blacksmith later in the game, and she can break down your weapons and you can get those parts anyway. So I think it's a bit of a false flag. You're comparing past performance to future performance, Seth. So don't do that. But at the same time, maybe that is true, and I'm just sort of Stockholm syndrome with his flaming spear. But it is really good.
When you picked up that spear, didn't you see there was like the like hidden text that was like plus 100% copium?
It's like you win the game. Pretty much, yeah.
You pick it up. If you use it for 3 hours, you win the game.
I'll get back to you next week, and I'll let you know if it is for real a trap or not. But yeah, these games are all very heavily loot-based games. It's just surprising to me to hear that you're like, I'm going to guess halfway or 3/4 of the way through the game.
Oh no, I'm very close to the end.
Oh, okay,
like the maximum of weapons you can get is like +9, and I've got like +8 stuff. So, and I just following the story threads. I think I can't really keep track of it, but I think I'm like up to the second or the third last boss, surely.
Okay, yeah. I'm just surprised that you're like this. You're already got a build, quote unquote, going.
Pretty much, but it's the way the leveling system works is really vague and generic, and I'm just sort of putting in the points where I think it would be cool.
Yeah, I just feel like these games, the main story, you kind of can just go through with whatever, but then you go into the post game, if there is a post game, and that's when making your build starts mattering more, and then you start going more overpowered as you continue to get better rarity equipment and making it all work together.
Yeah, that's possibly true.
Do you think they call the post game WoW longer?
Oh, hang on, it's Wonga long.
Wonga long.
I don't know. My understanding though is that I'm not sure how much post game stuff there is, and the post game stuff is. I
think there's a super boss.
I'm not I'm enjoying the game, but I'm not going to care that much. So I'll probably put it down and be like, oh yeah, I had a fun time, but I'm not going to play it again. But yeah, I'm conscious that we've spent that a bit of time on this, and I've sort of every time Seth brings something up, I'm like, oh yeah, that changes later on. So what do you think? Are you enjoying your time with the game, Seth?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. It's not like super massively invested into it, but it's fine. It's fine for now.
Yeah, that's essentially, it's good, not great.
So talking about that relative to the other Souls-like games that it takes from and things, at a similar point in say Elden Ring, which style of game is more kind of up your alley?
Elden Ring.
Elden Ring was way more up my alley for this point of the game. Also Stranger of Paradise, Bloodborne, in terms of the Souls games that I've played and Neo likes, is probably on the lower end. But even then, it's still incredibly fun. They're all great games. They all hit a 7 at minimum.
Yeah, I'd say this is a 7. I don't think I gel well with the action combat as much as I do with your Dark Souls, your Elden Rings, your Bloodborns.
So what you're saying is it's no Bloodborne karting adventure, but it's still a solid 7.
Yeah. It's, if you go into this expecting less, if you go into it expecting Dark Souls, you're going to be disappointed. I went into it not expecting Dark Souls because I thought I got confused with that game that's coming out next year. That's that.
Rise of the Ronin?
No, it's a game about
Lies of P. The Pinocchio
that's not
one.
what I'm thinking of. No, it's a game coming out next year. It's made by a Chinese developer. It is the story of the Monkey King.
Oh yeah, that one.
And it's been hyped up for the last fucking 4 years. And for some reason, I thought this was that game.
I've never seen Saif so confidently toss out 3 titles, get them wrong, and then still be hyped up to try and guess a 4th.
Yeah,
I know this one is I think it might just be Wukong.
I get the feeling that's it. Yeah, it's a very similar name.
Black Myth Wukong.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Black Myth was what I was thinking of. But yeah, Wukong is the anyway. But I went into it thinking it was that game and it was going to be more of an adventure game. But I still am having fun with it. I'm having a good time. I'm sort of getting to that point where it's okay, I'm done with it. Surely it's going to come to an end soon. It's probably a little bit much longer than what I wanted. Some of the bosses are frustrating, but I'm not sure if that's me being shit or the boss being unfair. And it's the
game
seems. It is a little bit of both. And what we haven't discussed today is that there's this weird, I think they're called morale points, and you start off like a battlefield with 0 morale points, and the maximum you can go is 25, and you can get more morale points by defeating enemies or like putting flags up around the map. And these, if you've got like a high morale point, enemies do less damage to you and you do more damage to them depending on the variance of like the morale point. So if I've got morale level of 8 and the enemy has a morale level of 3, it's a 2-hit job. Whereas it's the other way around, he'll 2-hit me. And
yeah, no, I ran into an enemy that was at morale 15 and I was at morale 12, so I wasn't that far below it, and he still one-shot me.
Yeah, and I don't think the game does a good job of telling you that. Like there was one boss I was like morale level like 18, and all bosses are 20, and he was like flogging me with like 3 or 4 hits, and I literally was like grinding up against him for like 45 minutes, and I'm like, surely I'm not that shit at the game that he's literally one-shotting. I think it was like 2 or 3 shot at me, but it was just frustrating. And then I looked up a guide on how to beat him, and I was like, oh, the guy's entering with 25. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then I literally walked in with 25. And I'm like, whoa, man, that boss actually wasn't that hard. It was just, if you die in 3 hits, like it's just going to be fucking difficult.
Yeah, it was just that, like I know exactly what you mean, where it's like, maybe this is more the sort of Elden Ring experience where it's like, the fact that you got there, you're not sure if the fact that you got there means that you should be able to fight what's in front of you, or
exactly,
if you fluked getting there and you know that you need to go do something else.
Yeah, but because it's a linear path, like you get like a little mini map and there's a red dot saying you have to go here to finish the level. And
right,
it's like,
yeah.
Okay, well, this is obviously where I'm supposed to be, but it's like, oh, hey, you haven't done more stuff in the level. Like it weirdly encourages.
It goads you into wanting to go into side paths to get these little extra flags that'll increase your morale permanently, or go fight stronger enemies. And
some of the flags, it's literally like you've got 2 paths. You take the left path, it continues the story. You take the right path, you get you get a dead end with a flag. And if you choose the wrong path, it's like, oh shit, like I know where that flag is. I got to go back, because you put a flag in, it increases your morale points automatically by 1 or 2 points. Like it's just a bit. It's encouraging backtracking in a way that's it's if you miss something, it's like, oh well, too bad, you have to go back. Good luck finding it.
Yeah.
It's just something that, and the game doesn't really tell you that. So until you find that out, like, and now that it took me about 50% of the game to work that out, and now that I'm aware of it, I'm looking for them because they sort of flash a bit white. So if you get up a bit high, you can sort of see them. But I thought it was just terribly explained, and it is.
Yeah, I think it might be buried in menus to explain what it is. I think
I'm pretty sure that's what it is, yeah.
There's an interesting side to the morale system that I kind of like, in that the enemies that if they kill you, your rank goes down and theirs goes up, so it's kind of like a soft nemesis system. And that part I kind of like, because it's like, oh, if you want to get revenge on this enemy, they're a little bit stronger, but you'll also get like a bonus for yourself if you do manage to get the comeback kill on them. And I think on bosses, it's just a straight up, yeah, you'll downgrade if you lose to them, but there's like, if you've hit a certain amount of flags in the level, then you can't go down lower than your permanent morale rank. So you can go into a boss with 25, and if you lose too many times, you can get kicks back down to 20.
Nah, it works a little bit different, like with bosses. So bosses, because it's the sort of Dark Souls thing where it's like if an enemy kills you, instead of because you've got genuine key points, which are like your souls that you spend to upgrade, the enemy sort of absorb those. So to get those back, you have to kill that enemy, and he takes your morale points. So you've got to get those morale points back as well. But with bosses, as long as you get to the same room, it automatically you automatically get it back.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Yes, you don't have to worry about killing the boss to get those genuine key points back. It's literally, okay, cool, I'm entered the boss sphere, I'm getting that stuff back automatically. And I think that's pretty good, especially with some of those more frustrating bosses.
Yeah, that's a lot fairer.
You're essentially not losing anything. But it's like, oh yeah, I've got to go back to the boss because that's where I'm up to get
also
my stuff
just
back.
Based off the first 2 levels and the alpha, they're very good about leaving a flag right next to the boss fight as well, so you don't have to do like a full corpse run like the Souls games did.
Yep, I think 99% of the ones I've been, it's literally 5 seconds away.
Yeah,
Like,
and that's
you'll see a
very
big-
appreciated.
You'll see a big door, there'll be a flag next to it, and I'm like, fuck yeah. I know exactly what this is.
I've been here before.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, that's Wolong. I'm enjoying my time. I'm not sure if I'd recommend it. Like if someone hadn't played a Souls-like game before, I'm like, I probably would recommend a Dark Souls over this. But if you do enjoy those games, you need to sort of scratch that itch a little bit. It is pretty good. And once again, it's on Game Pass. So I did not pay money for this. Technically, I did because of the subscription and downloading internet fees, but whatever. But yeah, I think I would have been disappointed if I paid money for it. But because I did not, it is fun.
I see. Saif, your take to round us out.
I'm still a little too early to give like a recommendation. I think it's fun so far. That might change later on. But yeah, I'll have to get back a little later on. But I think I'm kind of in the same boat as Steven, where I'm not too sure if I would just go out and recommend it to anyone. Maybe like very specifically to people that enjoy these type of games and is looking for something new instead of doing their 5th replay of Bloodborne. But yeah, at the moment it's like I'm fine with it, but it's not hitting as well as it should.
And you paid for it?
My brother did. I'm just borrowing his copy.
Ah, okay.
Play-ons are cool. What does he think about it? Get him on.
Yeah.
Maybe later. Maybe next week when I play more, and then I'll get his thoughts because he's finished. He's also done everything in it, I'm pretty sure. I think he might have gotten all the achievements, actually.
Ooh, interesting.
Wow. Soft Nemesis for Steve unlocked.
I'm not going to 100% this game.
Wow, way to get the downgrade already.
I just double-checked. He did get all the achievements in the game.
Yeah. Right then. But there's not the achievements or trophies?
Steam achievements.
Ah, interesting. Wait, then how are you borrowing his copy?
Steam has a family sharing system.
Really? Oh, crazy.
It does, and it's like awesome.
Yeah, like it's limited to that. If he's playing it, then I can't play it, but that just makes sense. It's like, well, if I'm lending the disc to someone, then of course I can't play from that same disc, sort of thing. But yeah, since he's finished it and he doesn't plan on playing it, then I just got free reign to just load it up whenever I want.
Noise. Anyway, well, without needing to go for too much woe longer on this, boom, nailed it. Why don't we wrap the discussion there, at least until next week when perhaps Seth has more thoughts. Perhaps he won't. Who knows? Only time will tell. We're really free flowing. Of course, next week will be the Noise podcast. Whether or not he wants to say something nice about Wolong is up to him. I gotta hit you guys with a couple quick points on Celeste. So play a little bit more of it. Played through, I don't know where I said I got to last week, but I've definitely played World 3 since talking about it last week. And maybe World 4? I'm not quite sure. But I hit the first thing that made me go, that made me stop and think, as like a critical lens, putting a critical lens over platforming. So there are two things that started to get on my nerves a little bit, specifically with World 3. And there's a real obvious answer, and I'm wondering if Steve's going to hit me with it. But the first one, Celeste is really good, and I say good in the both good and bad sense, at just putting random pathways in the platform, like while you're platforming. So you'll be platforming, and there'll be this like really obvious way that you're supposed to go, and there'll be a very obvious, not backtracking, but like path in a different direction, and you're like, oh well, I know the way that I'm supposed to go, so I'm gonna go check out the other hidden path. And I did that, and then found an old arcade machine, which it does the real meta thing of like loading up an 8-bit version of the platform you're playing, because I know Super Meat Boy did something similar as well. Where, admittedly, quite a lot of what I'm talking about with Celeste is because I played Super Meat Boy and loved Super Meat Boy. But found 8-bit Celeste and played that, and I was expecting it to be like the Super Meat Boy 8-bit version, which, admittedly, it's been a few years. I don't remember it super well. But my memory of it is that the side questy 8-bit levels were sort of the 5 to 15 minute sort of range. And
is that good or bad?
That's going to be the question, because this what I did in Celeste, it took me 30 minutes to beat.
Have you ever tried to unlock the kid in Super Meat Boy?
No, or at least not intentionally. I don't remember.
That is 3 levels, and each level took me an hour. But yeah,
did you know,
that seems like it's too long.
Did you know up front that that's what you were doing?
No.
Okay.
But they were like very super Kaizo hard levels. And the Super Meat Boy ones, the 8-bit levels in those range from being pretty fast and pretty easy to being pretty damn hard. So there's a mix there. But no, the kid is the worst of those. They never get that bad again, as far as I'm aware of.
I guess what I'm looking for is, I don't know how many worlds there are in Celeste, but I'm in World 3, where I've only played Celeste for a few hours, somewhere between 0 and, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 sort of hours. That a 30-minute, I almost want to call it a side quest, right? A 30-minute gallivant through some side missions on the 8-bit version of the game. It feels very continuity breaking, because when I played it, wasn't sure what would happen, but expected it to be a couple levels, and then you jump out and it's like you've unlocked something, and I never got the sense that if I quit, I would have finished enough to be able to revisit it later or what have you. So to then have to spend 30 minutes on a level that I was only maybe 5 to 10 minutes into feels like a weird time split between going through the actual level and going through this one specific piece of it.
Was that 10 minutes for the level itself, or that World 3 as a whole?
Like so I've basically been playing Celeste in world chunks. So
that makes sense. That makes sense to break it down into those type of.
Yeah, I was doing Neon White the same way until I just blitzed through the end.
Yeah, same actually. So with World 3, I was playing World 3 for maybe, let's say 15 minutes, right? Because I don't fucking time myself. It was only because it tells you every time you die how long you've spent in the 8-bit levels. I'd spent maybe 15 minutes going through World 3, including some like going off and collecting strawberries or doing other little side questy bits. And then knowing that I spent 30 minutes, which is longer than I spent in the level, in the side part of the level, means that once I got to the end of level 3, it was like, is that just going to be how the rest of these levels go? Because I don't know what I expect a platformer to do, and this is kind of where I want to see like where your thoughts lie on it. But to me, it feels kind of weird that the main bulk of the time spent platforming isn't continuing the platforming, like I'm using air quotes, like story. Like I'm not continuing the game. I'm basically just effectively just farting around doing my own thing for some obscene chunk of time, and then another 5 or 10 minutes and I beat the level, and it's like, well, that was a weird use of time, because the level itself, if I'd just gone end to end, was like 10 minutes, but all of the weird backtracking and other exploration that I did meant that the entire level took like an hour. Is that a good design or a bad design? And I don't really know where I fall on this.
I think at the end of the day, are you having fun? Like
that's the cop out answer.
Cop out. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, it is a cop out answer, but like it's the answer. Like, do you go in, fluff around, to use your own words, and then take a step back and be like, "Whoa, man, I really accomplished nothing," versus, "Oh, okay, I fluffed around, I had a good time, I want to continue fluffing around." It sort of feels like you're looking for a reason not to like it because you're not progressing, but just because you're not progressing doesn't mean you're not having a good time, if that makes sense.
That does make sense. I think the well has been poisoned a little bit because of how recently I played Neon White, where Neon White, they give you something new to do every world. Even sometimes within worlds, they'll mix something up or give you something, give you a situation to do something differently. Whereas Celeste, it feels kind of like the enjoyment is the Dark Souls Elden Ring thing of you survived. and the enjoyment you glean is that you didn't waste 2 hours, you only wasted 1 hour getting through some sequence of levels. And it has given me a couple new things to do, in that now there's like these weird kind of cosmic blocks that I get momentum pushed through when I jump through them. And those are interesting, but they're not interesting enough to be like, this world was a series of levels that I survived and didn't do anything different enough or make me reconsider what I had to do to be like, that was a really fun level. Because again, this could be rose tinted glasses, but Super Meat Boy, there were some levels where I went, that was a really enjoyable level because of some factor. Or Neon White, that was a really enjoyable level because of some mechanic that they made you use, or some way that you had to think about the problem in front of you. Whereas so many of the levels in Celeste, particularly in World 3, have been, the only thing that's changed is the background. And I guess technically there's like a new mechanic of, if you're on a platform and then jump off the platform, you can no longer land back on that platform because it's now covered in some like red goo that instantly kills you if you touch it. But there's not enough of a difference in how I approach something or how I need to think about something to get the enjoyment I want out of doing that. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah, I think it does.
Bear with me for a moment, because we're going to faff about in my own little world as I try to piece together how I want to approach this topic.
Oh god, he's producing a thought bubble. Quick, Steve, blow it out. Blow it out.
It didn't work. The thought bubble's growing bigger.
I don't think that even got picked up by the mic.
I heard it on Discord.
That's all right,
man. Anyway, yes, Saif, go ahead.
On the outset, it feels like that you basically went and did a world within that level. Like, it took you into its own little, basically, you've done World 1, you've done World 2, you're doing World 3, and in this level within World 3, you've basically done another world that might as well be World 4.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good way to think about it, yeah.
And I think that's a little much. When these little side things pop up, it's like, it's nicer when it's like a small break. Generally, like thinking of Sonic the Hedgehog, you get these special stages if you meet a requirement and finish a level, or find a hidden thing inside a level, go to a little special stage, and you're in and out of those in like a minute or two. And that's kind of the area I want to hit on. I don't mind if it's a little longer. Super Meat Boy has some that are longer, like maybe you'll spend 5 minutes on this little series of 3 levels, and those are fun. And that is probably more where I would have wanted to hit with this sort of thing. Going out of your way.
You know what it is? Springboarding off that, you're exactly right. You know why the World 4 within World 3 rubbed me the wrong way? It's because the whole point of Celeste, you're climbing a mountain. In the 8-bit world, I climbed the mountain and I unlocked, normally you jump and then you have like a dash in some direction. So it's kind of, let's call it a double jump, right? For argument's sake. I climbed to the top of the mountain in the 8-bit game, and I expected that would be where the 8-bit game ended, and it didn't. And then I unlocked another jump, and it was like, interesting, this shifts up the mechanic. And what I expected from that was another 2 or 3 levels of, look how much fun, or look at all the different ways you could do things with 2 jumps. And the problem was, that was at the 15 to 20 minute mark out of the 30 minutes I spent in the subworld.
Jesus.
And every level past that, it was like, okay, how long? Like, it just overstayed its welcome. It felt like such a perfect point to finish it, where it like tempts you with, here is like the triple jump. Look how much fun this is. Go back and play the main game in this, and you can come back and do more of these worlds. But then every point past that, it was like, I just want this to end. Yeah. I'm not having fun anymore.
That's the other part of it, in that from the way you've described it, it's not entirely clear if you can leave and come back to this later at your own leisure.
Yeah.
And so at that point,
you know what's funny about that? When I got to the actual ending, and the only reason I knew it was the actual ending is because I couldn't do anything. Like, I got to like the second top of the mountain, and I jumped in every direction trying to find the next thing, or expecting the game to take control away from me. It didn't. I alt-tabbed and had to Google, can I quit and then the name of the like sub-level area in Celeste. Found a Reddit post where someone asked the same thing, and every comment is just, yes, you can quit.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, so them not being exactly clear on that also kind of sucks, and it's like, these sort of things are better when they're in short bursts, and especially since it's doing that fake 8-bit aesthetic, and I feel like going from what's less normal art style is to that, it's like, for half an hour it kind of gets a bit grating on the eyes.
Well, it just sort of feels like, what game am I playing here? And here's the thing. I was expecting Steve to instantly hit me with a skill issue, because if I was better at the game, I would just beat the levels faster and it wouldn't be as much of an issue. Sure. But I still think overstaying your welcome in level design is a problem. And I have a feeling that Celeste is trying to do so much within each of its levels that it could cut down the amount of content without cutting down the experience. And I think that's a detriment, or I think I'll start thinking of that as a detriment as I play more.
Yeah. For me, it's more, this feels like it's something that would have been better if they spaced it out. Like, maybe you find an arcade machine every other level and you do like 3 to 5 of the levels, and then it boots you out, and then you go finish a level, go do a little bit more, and then you find another arcade machine in the next world. It's like feeling like you found this and then done world 4, basically. It's a bit too much at once. And on their end, they're like, oh, well, you can quit out of it and then come back to it whenever. That's fine. But if it's not entirely clear to the player that you can do that, then
my anxiety won't let me.
Yeah, and you've got someone on Reddit that's done the same thing as you. It's like, oh, maybe it wasn't exactly clear, and there could have been something done a little better here.
There's also there's one minor point that I want to say attached to that, and then one other major point unrelated, which I want to bring up. So the one minor point related to that, in the 8-bit levels, as soon as you go to the next area, that's it, done. You can no longer return to the earlier area. I'm sure if I quit out, I could go through the entire lot back to that point again. And admittedly, again, this is kind of on me. I'm a competitive guy. When I see a strawberry in a level, I want to collect it, because I feel like if it's given me a strawberry in the level, there has to be a way for me to get it, right? And so in the 8-bit levels, sometimes, or at least in a couple that I played, they put the strawberry near the level boundary, where I've died repeatedly trying to get everything together to get the strawberry. I miss it by, like, I don't know, a sprite width. So not like a huge, like, it's not like a pixel difference or anything, but like I miss it, but could, if I restarted that level, get it a second, like get it on the next run. But I've fallen through the world barrier and I'm now in the next level and I can't go back.
Oh, Jesus.
And I've put a few minutes into like hooking this one run together to get the strawberry, and I fucked it, and I might as well have just not bothered and just sped the level and then gone to the next one. So that's a minor point that, in the grand scheme of things, isn't that big a deal. It's just kind of frustrating in amongst everything else. The other major point I want to touch on, I don't remember how the physics engine of Super Meat Boy works, but I used to play a lot of N. Have either of you played a lot of N?
Yes.
No.
N plus is I think N plus and N plus plus were the ones I played.
Yeah, so I played a lot of original N, and I played a little bit of all of them actually. I played original N plus, and I have N plus plus on Steam, which I haven't touched in a while. Mostly because you can play all the old N levels in N++, I'm pretty sure. But N++, it teaches you that momentum is conserved, which is great. So what I mean by that is that let's say your jump by holding spacebar is taller than the ceiling you would crash into. In N++, if you run and jump, you will just sit underneath the ceiling for the duration of your jump. It's as if you'd gone up and then come back down where your jump would naturally end, but you're just off the ground the whole time. Those are the platformers I really enjoy because they feel really floaty, and they
have a lot of momentum going for them.
Yeah, like
you know what else? What other game has physics similar to this? Fancy Pants Adventures. God, those were really fun games.
Did not play those ones, but the thing that I want to get to, Celeste does not have that. Celeste, if you use your dash into the roof too close to the roof, it kills your momentum and your jump is truncated. So yes, it's a skill issue. I need to jump from lower down, but oh man, is it so hard to fight that many years of like built-in
you want to do
muscle
a
memory
roof slide.
of roof sliding and momentum conservation.
Yeah, no,
And-
Super Meat Boy also had roof sliding and wall sliding.
I wasn't sure. Like, okay, Celeste does have wall sliding. It does have that going for it. But roof sliding, I wasn't sure if Super Meat Boy did as well. And I'm glad it does because, oh man, is it getting... This is what I meant. So I raised this last week in terms of me not quite clicking with the movement options available. And I think I boiled it down to this one being the one that's just tripped me the most, where I just expect things like that to work and it punishes me for that. And on one hand, skill issue, just get better, fine. On the other hand, God, it's annoying.
But no, that does sound annoying. That like you could get better, but that seems like one of those things. It's keep replaying that level and you'll eventually get better.
And the thing is, you do, right? Like you have to get better to finish the level because you have to finish the level to finish the worlds. So on that sense, it's working in the retraining me to think about that sort of thing. But it's kind of like, I think the difference is in, again, throwing back to Neon White, which I think stems from a lot of this of just how much I love Neon White to how much I want other games to be like Neon White, even though they're not. Doing a really hard route still left you a little bit of room for maneuver. You didn't have to be perfect to get the route that you want, unless you're me and Saif trying to fight over like 1 frame difference.
We were fucking close to the world record on 1-1. It's infuriating how close that got. 1-1 killed my drive to do the rest of the game, honestly. Like, I was so sick of World 1. I wanted to do the fun levels, but I also had the mentality of like, no, beat Patrick at World 1 and then move on to the fun levels and beat those times. It's like, I got stuck on World 1, the first level, so much. It's just like, no, I need to get out while it's still healthy.
So the difference is, for me, in Celeste, you don't have that room for error right off the bat, where I can't think of too many levels that I failed outright that many times in Neon White. And Neon White, granted, isn't a game set up to make you fail over and over again, but it still feels...
Every now and then they'll hit you with a trap, and then it's like, oh, so that's how that mechanic works, sort of thing.
Kind of, and you feel like I want to talk about like 1-3 as a good example for that, where once you figure out the kind of correct speedrun strat, or a speedrun strat that is just better than yours, it feels shaky while you try and get it down, and then once you get it down, you know whether or not you've got it.
Yeah.
I'm still at the point 6 hours into Celeste where some jumps just feel unnatural to me, and I don't know if I'll make it or not. And it's annoying that I'm still not comfortable enough with the movement system that I can't make that call. And it seems like such a minor thing, but it really is weird when you're like holding your breath, hoping to make a jump where there's no reason why this jump will make it or won't make it. Because there has to be some reason for it, right? It's not like you jump a random height in Celeste, but it's just not fully grasping how... I'm guessing it's the momentum or something that it just makes you feel like not very confident in your own platforming abilities. So that, combined with not being able to roof slide, combined with kind of extensive backtracking or like side platforming other than the kind of core levels that you're going through in a world, I'm a little shaky as to whether or not I'm enjoying Celeste overall. I'm really enjoying parts of it, but it's just these little things are just starting to creep a few doubts into my mind.
Yeah, this might be me reading a little too deeply into it because of impressions I've seen on Twitter. I know that the game tries to have, well, it does have themes of like mental health and some other things going on, and they try to play with those in gameplay as well. So maybe that tense feeling you get on specific jumps is somewhat intentional, but that may be just also me putting something there where it doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's a bit of copium.
It's a real interesting take, though. Anyway, bit of copium. Final word from you, Steve?
I've heard very good things about Celeste, like to the point that it's been told that it is one of the platformers of all time. But as someone who's not a really big fan of platformers, I have not played it yet. And it's interesting to see your perspectives on the way that it feels isn't very good. I don't know. You've kind of, maybe because I've only heard positive things about it, to hear a negative thing about it, it's like, maybe people are just blind. But then maybe it's the audience. Like, I'm not sure, because as someone as long-time fast travel lore experiences of this podcast know, my experience with the Ukulele and the Impossible Lair was just a platform game. It was a pretty good game. I just did not gel with it well because it is a platforming game. And maybe that's sort of, if the genre is not for me, that doesn't mean it's a bad game. It just means it's not for me type of game. Which means I probably wouldn't play a game like this just because it's a platformer. But then at the same time, I've been told it's that good. So I don't know where I stand.
Play it. Yeah, I'm the same. Like I think about these things and then I have to go look in the mirror to see whether or not I've turned into Josh of just having a hot contrarian take for the sake of it. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'll be sure to post the next Celeste update when I play a bit more. But
it's funny for me because I've also been on the receiving end of, no, this game's fantastic and everything, but very rarely have I seen it be praised for the gameplay. It's a lot for its messaging on mental health that I've seen, and that's probably just from the circles that I see. But I'm still very interested in seeing how it plays for myself. I do know a handful of people that really do enjoy the gameplay of it, but a lot of like the massive praise I see is for its story and messaging.
Yeah, and yeah, I haven't gotten enough into the story to say for or against whether I agree with that, but I've seen it set things up that I can see how it would do storytelling and that sort of messaging very well. Final thing I'll say. This is, what are we at? Maybe the third or fourth game in a list of games I wouldn't ordinarily go out of my way to play, but I've heard nothing but extraordinarily good things about them from other places. So this is in the same list as things like Hades, Neon White, and I'm sure there's another one that I can't quite think of at the moment, but another game that I, looking at it on the Steam, would go, oh, that game looks okay, but not really the sort of thing I'm seeking out. But hearing so many good things about it, going, actually, yeah, I'll give this game a shot. And it's weird that Hades turned into one of my favorite games of all time. Neon White turned into one of my favorite games of all time. But Celeste, and it's like, I don't know, not yet. It might come around on me, but this is the first one that hasn't been an absolute standout from all the praise that I've heard about it. But anyway, talking about it for long enough, long enough even. That's all I'll say.
That was a good one.
Thank you. You know what they say: best things come in twos. You heard me. I don't want to spend too long on this, but I just want to really quickly get your final Borderlands 3 thoughts, Steve, because I don't think we went through.
No, we didn't. I did talk about it, but I was sort of like halfway through it. I really enjoyed it. The story's shit, but the DLC is pretty good.
Same take as the internet. No Josh for you today.
Yeah, no, like I 100% and I got all the achievements.
Favorite DLC?
Or Psycho Krieger's one is really good, but in terms of like general theme, I think the Blood, Love and Tentacles, because that one is a bit more of a story hook. It brings back the Macromancer, which is like one of my favorite DLC from Borderlands 1. It's just a bit more of investment in backstory and characters rather than just do something wacky. I really, they're all really good though.
They all do their own thing, which I really like.
Yeah, it's also weird that they increased the max level to 72. It's just a weird number to be. But like you'll be 72, but then enemies will be like boss enemies, especially, will be like 74, 75. And I was like, oh, cool, I can hit level 74. And I'm like, oh fuck, no, I can't. Like 72 is the hard cap. It's very strange. I didn't really play without getting too much into it. There's like mayhem mode, which literally just inflates enemy damage and health by like degrees of, I think like 10,000 is like mayhem level 10, but it gives you like better loot and all that kind of thing. I did experiment with that kind of thing, but I sort of got to a point it's like I don't really care. But then I got to a stage at the end that like I had like the rarest gear and I was like one-shotting everything. So, but then I was collecting all the achievements, so it didn't really matter anyway. But no, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoy Borderlands 3. Regardless of whether you played any of the other Borderlands, you don't really need to. It gets better. The story's pretty shit, but who cares? The gameplay's fucking fantastic. Still a 9 out of 10.
In the weirdest way, I think this is a game where if you play Borderlands 2, you'll want to play Borderlands 1 to like, what am I trying to say? Borderlands 2 is improved by playing Borderlands 1 because you get all the references and all the story notes. But because the story is so universally disliked in Borderlands 3, it does not matter if you've played Borderlands 1 or 2.
It's one of those things where Borderlands 2 is enhanced by playing Borderlands 1, but it's not necessary. But it is nice to have those little references and callbacks to the other characters and like point at the screen. I remember you. You're a player character from the last game.
Yeah.
Welcome to everyone watching the Mario movie at the moment.
Yeah.
That gif of Leonardo, the whistle thing, like you couldn't whistle. But yeah, they do.
Yeah,
Borderlands 3 does do a couple of things like that, and the opening sort of thing sort of does set that sort of scene. Like you got like Tannis and Maya, which is one of the playable characters from 2, and Lilith and all that. They're all there. So you can be like, oh, cool, like I know all these people, but like you don't really care about them in number 3. There are a couple of moments in 3 that are good, but like I don't think it's the story that's bad. I just think the villains are bad. And because the villains are so bad, they drag everything down.
Yes, 100%. There's 2 bits that I want to hit with that. I'm not trying to turn this into a big Borderlands 3 discussion. I'm just curious because I want to try and get like a whirlwind wrap of your thoughts while we're in this. Do you think Borderlands 3 improved by going to different planets, yes or no?
It made it more diverse, if that makes sense. Like it gave different biomes to explore, like not the same. Oh, here's your ice level, here's your forest level, here's your desert level. It gave us like, okay, cool, this is the desert planet. There's a bunch of different sort of desert biomes in here, if that makes sense. And it does make it seem like bigger and more, like it makes the universe seem more fleshed out and lived in, and there's different things going on.
So I mostly agree. However, I think this is where the story gets weaker because you'll go to a planet and there is a character that you like that comes from like a reference or something that is on that planet for the sole existence of continuing the story, and you're like, okay, cool, now whatever happens to this character is fairly inconsequential to the rest of the story because they're off on their own fucking planet.
Yeah, okay, that's fair, but I think it's more of a, hey, we're in your area, you're going to help a brother out.
You up?
Yeah, but then also as well, like I think the first time I went to a different planet, I expected to see similar enemies, but like the only real similar enemies are the Children of the Vault. Like all like the wildlife enemies are different. So I thought that was like there's a lot of enemy diversity, not in the sense that
that's a good point.
Fair
point.
They don't do different things. They still die in a couple of bullets. But how they look and how they semi like the elemental and how they attack.
Being able to sell that you're on a different planet is really appreciated. And
I expected it would just be like, I expected it to just be the same enemies. And it's like, oh, hey, this one's got like monkey enemies, or this one has, what are the rat things called? Rarrels or something? It doesn't matter. But yeah, I appreciated that. It was just a bit more attention to detail.
Yep, that's fair. Favorite gun that you found along the way?
Oh, fucking hell. I did have a sniper at one point that did...
Or if not gun, just like a memorable piece of gear.
They're all fucking fantastic. Like one of the guns I've got, I ended up like staying with one of my best ones. It's a SMG that has like a burst fire, and the burst fire is literally 10 bullets.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it does like massive amounts of radiation damage, and the full clip is like 68. So if you go to full auto, you literally just hold it down and you're shooting like 68 bullets in like less than 3 seconds. It was just very fast, and it was like, oh shit. And it did help with a lot of boss fights, especially in the DLC ones.
Final couple questions. Was there an achievement to do any of the takedowns?
What do you mean takedowns?
Like the planet, like the challenge planets, where they're designed to be done with like 4 people, and it's like the gauntlet runs, like Mallow Black Site and stuff.
No. There's achievements for doing the Circle of Slaughter, which you can do solo. There's an achievement for doing one of the raid bosses they introduced in one of the DLCs, the designer cut, I think, or the director's cut. All was done solo. There's none of those gauntlet sort of challenges that you needed 4 people for. Thank God, because I didn't have to look for that. I would say that I'm close to doing 100% in Borderlands 3. I don't know because I play it on Epic like a moron. But I'm sure I'm approaching having gotten 100% of everything.
Final question. Ava, yes or no?
No.
Like as a character, I mean, not
Straight
like
up
anything
no.
weird. No? Yeah, fair.
Yeah. But she does get
No
a bit
for
redeemed
both.
with like the.
Seth, no.
She does get a little bit redeemed because in one of the DLC she gets she's starting up a podcast, like a ghost
Okay.
She's
podcast.
ripping
And you
us
gotta help
off.
her out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
weirdly
pretty
meta.
much. Yeah, it's called Mysteriously. And that's those quests are fun, but her as a character in those quests is shit. And I think she's a shit character. And literally, she's like responsible for a major death. That's how we say.
Yeah. Speaking of major death, when that major death is revisited in Krieg's DLC, did you cry?
No, that was probably like the most emotional thing. I'm like, whoa, they can tell a serious story that isn't just a sarcastic comment every 2 seconds. Oh, and actually, I'm gonna make one comment about the humor in this game.
Well, hold up, just to close the loop on the Krieg thing. Krieg has been a character that I remember looking at the trailer of in like back in high school and chatting about how great Borderlands was with mates and everything. So when they closed the loop on one of Krieg's major arcs with how it ends in his DLC, those who have played will know what I'm talking about. Those who haven't, there shouldn't be any spoilers in there. It fucking hit me. Not like bawling at a Borderlands game, but just being like, wow, I did not expect to feel this like given how shit I think the writing is in a lot of places in Borderlands 3, I'm surprised how well they managed to like smack me for a 6 with this one.
Yeah, that whole section is like fantastic. Yeah.
Anyway,
and I think that,
the point you wanted to make.
Well, just the point on the writing, and this is literally a comment that I'm going to steal from Yahtzee, like the Escapist. I didn't notice it until I saw a video on humor in games, and he actually says it. It's that Borderlands' entire humor is built on sarcasm. And literally it's funny for the first like 5 minutes, and then it's like, okay, it's not funny anymore. I get it. Like, I think you're going to say something, but then you said something else, or you made a shitty pun again, or you're just saying dumb shit for the sake of dumb shit. Like it does sort of drain on you in a bit. And I think that's why the writing is shit. Like it's not, it's clever in the sense of in that moment it's clever, but taking a step back, it's like, that's not clever. Like that's not funny.
Fair. I disagree because I think that applies to a lot of Borderlands humor, but I think there are plenty of moments that are funny in their own right because of well done character development to make characters their own. Like I'm thinking of like Tiny Tina, for example. A lot of what Tiny Tina does is funny, not because it's sarcastic, but because they were able to cookie cut what that character is to the point where you can anticipate what humor is coming and it still pulls off as very funny. And I think that falls through with characters like the whatever the twins, Calypso twins, whatever, for the same reasons that the characters are not strong enough to carry any humor they try and tell, which is why I fucking hate them.
Let's not get into it. I hate Tiny Tina as a character because it's like, explosion's funny.
Well, it is, so fuck you.
Yeah, debatable. But yeah, cool. I highly recommend everybody get Borderlands 3.
And
it's on everything.
True. I don't buy it on Epic Games. I made a mistake. I wanted it early.
Well, they had that exclusivity deal, didn't they? For 6 months?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. No, it was a year. It was a year.
A year, fucking hell.
Yeah. Well, I hope it was a year. I'm pretty sure it was a year. If it was 6 months,
I'm pretty sure it was a year.
I'm pretty sure it was a year.
It might have been 6 months, actually. I think that might have been one of the shorter ones.
No, I think it was 6 months for Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
Maybe.
I think Borderlands 3 was a year. Anyway, final thing, because I know that I've said final like 3 times now. I got to the end of Borderlands 3, and less so at the end of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. And I know that I said this a few times, but it made me appreciate how fantastic Borderlands 2 was. Same thoughts, yes or no?
Sort of. Like it from a pure gameplay point of view, I think this is a little bit tighter and you get a bit of parkour and stuff. And then and maybe that's just because Borderlands 2 was so good. They didn't really have to change that much to make Borderlands 3 amazing. But yeah, Borderlands 2 is probably a fantastic, it is a fantastic game, probably in my top 10 games of all time. But it still stands by itself as a fantastic game, if that's what you're trying to say. Like, I'm not going to go back and play Borderlands 2.
But a handsome collection is right there.
Yeah, you absolutely should. Don't play.
I've already played through it like 3 times.
Fuck Australia. I don't like the future where Australians are on the moon. I will do everything in my power to stop that from happening. Anyway, thank you for that, Steve. Man, that quick chat turned into 13 minutes real fast, huh?
Do be like that.
It's never quick when we say it'll be quick.
Well, it's never quick when I say it'll be quick. Sorry, everyone. Pokemon Stadium, Steve.
I'm not going to spend too much time on this. We've spoken for too long.
Here we go. 20 minutes. Let's go.
Well, I played a couple of the mini games. I played a couple of the things. It's very cool.
How was your nap?
Oh, it was good. It's a good nap. I literally just closed my eyes for
I can tell that you got very confused there for a second. Like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah. No, I literally just closed my eyes.
You a big lucid dreamer or?
No, I don't really have a lot of dreams unless I've had a couple of drinks and I get weird dreams. But my trick for napping is
episode 69 dreams.
It's a 69 with the boys.
There we go. Wait, hang on.
But I nap on the lounge, so I don't sleep for too long, and I slept for 45 minutes, and it's I was sleeping in a very uncomfortable position. I'm like, well, man, I was out for ages. But yeah, anyway, Pokemon Stadium, it's more hitting me with the nostalgia. We've said it before, we've said it again. The fact that there is no red, blue, or yellow to transfer the Pokemon over is fucking rough. The rental Pokemon is shit. But the animations are really cool. The announcer announcing the moves, and if it's a critical hit, it's whoa, it's a critical hit, is fantastic. And I didn't notice it before, but there were crowd noises. That when you use a move, they're like, whoa. So everybody that says that in Gen 8 when they brought stadiums, it's Pokemon Stadium 1 did it first.
Use a move and there's a laugh track.
Doesn't affect. But no, it is. But the problem is with the Gen 1 mechanics, there's no physical special split. I was versing Brock just before this, and his Onyx knows bind or wrap or whatever. And it's okay, it's wrapped me. I can't make a move. He can only do wrap. And because he's faster than me, he's just always going to click that wrap button. So I couldn't move. And I'm this is fucked, man. So I just ended up returning. And because I returned, I changed my Pokemon on a turn when he was sort of stuck in the loop. He didn't use a new move, and because my new Pokemon was faster, I was see you later. But yeah, the rental Pokemon is shit. That's just very disappointing. And the mini games are a bit harder than what I remember them to be. But I think that's just because they're designed for an N64 controller, and because they're straight ports, they haven't updated the control scheme to make it with the Switch Pro controller. It's just very fucking awkward.
Huh.
But yeah, it's on the Nintendo 64 online. I might play another 45 minutes, an hour, but
and then rental Pokemon will give you the shits.
Yeah, and it's a bit slower paced than what the new Pokemon games are in terms of the battles. It's the nostalgia just hit me. I'm oh, cool, I remember this. I'm oh,
I remember this now. To Mega Evolve your Gengar.
Doesn't exist in Gen 1, big fella, but either held items or abilities, and it's just a bit. It's just all the step forwards they've made to make it more competitive.
I guess neither with the fairy type, right?
Yeah, fairy type doesn't exist. The only ghost attacking type move is Lick, which Gengar doesn't even need to know. Which Gengar doesn't know.
It's so weird to me that I think we had a version of this chat with the BDSP remakes, but it's so weird. The HMs, the TMs as an example thing. It was a universally loved quality of life upgrade to bring new people into it. It's kind of weird that they do a direct port to the point where they regress and toss out all of the mechanics they built up on top of it over the years.
Yeah, so I had a Hitmonchan, and it knows Thunder Punch and Ice Punch. But because of how
the Onyx.
Because Gen 1, the way it worked,
Elemental Punch is a special, baby.
Well, yeah, all electric type moves and all ice type moves are special, and Hitmonchan has a special of 63, but Onyx has a special of 80. So, and because special attacks work against
special against special,
yeah, special against special, it doesn't count for defense. I'm it's still 2 hit the Onyx. It was still pretty. It just you're right. They've taken a lot of steps forward, and it's how much they could have. And I sort of understand if they were to fix it up, it's become that whole, it's technically a remaster, give us $60. Which I wouldn't do. This game is not worth $60.
And then you're excuse me, and then Pokemon pushes their glasses up and go, oh, I'm sorry, that'll be $80.
And just to show you I'm serious, I've already taken the money out of your account. Yeah, it's just there's a lot of quality of life things that that new Pokemon games have done that. This is like, oh yeah, it's nostalgia, but this is
holy
annoying.
shit.
And this is
Dark
annoying.
type and Steel type also don't exist, do
not
they?
exist.
No.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Magneton, Magnemite, only Steel type. Only electric types.
Only electric, yeah.
Not that it matters because it's like those are the only Steel types.
Onyx doesn't know it can evolve.
Yeah, which is probably why its stats are a bit higher than what it should be.
So at the risk of Steven showing me down just to end this topic sooner, but you've talking about a lot of things that the newer gens just do better, but is there anything from this game that you wish was still around in the newer games?
100%. The announcer.
Yeah, no, I basically thought of that question just because of the announcer.
Yeah, the announcer is fantastic. I like how he like gets excited when it's, oh, whoa, critical hit. Oh, that's not very effective. Like it's it's been put to sleep.
Wait. What are you doing tossing out not very effective hits? Come on,
it's the enemy Pokemon.
You're a tournament competing Pokemon player. What the fuck are you doing?
It's the enemy Pokemon giving it to me.
Here's Gen 1, just throw out a really fast Pokemon and it'll always crit.
Well, I got Alakazam, Psybeam, we're winning.
Yeah. GG's.
But yeah, like
GG, shake my hand.
Yeah.
Can you rent a Mewtwo?
I don't know. You can't use them in the stadium that I played, so
Saif, that's known as calling the bully hunters.
Yeah, I don't think you can actually, but I haven't looked though. And also the mini games as well are pretty fun. I do remember a lot of times playing my brother and my friends with them. Then I played like one against the computer, and I'm like, these mini games don't really control very well. Like the Ekans one, you need to use the D-pad to position your Ekans and then like flick the stick. But obviously the Switch Pro controller is different sensitivity to the Nintendo 64 controller.
And you've got the stick drift, so you're always like tossing it to the left.
It's the Pro controller, not the Joy-Con. So I'm fine with that. But yeah, the mini games, it's sort of just a bit side content. Have fun with friends, but the announcer gives it a lot more soul. It's like
fair.
Yeah.
You thinking of continuing? Like how many more legs do you think this game has?
Like maybe an hour. I might play in the morning for a bit or something before work. It's like a very brain dead type of game. Like I'll do my move and while I'm playing on my phone and all that kind of thing.
But you got to watch the animations. It's like the entire
I've seen
appeal of Pokemon Stadium.
My Alakazam always moves faster. The Psybeam animation looks the same. Its special is that high.
Can you Nuzlocke Pokemon Stadium?
Or maybe you have
mean, kind of if they put in Pokemon transferring later.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's where it is. That's where we stand.
And stand we shall. Thank you for that, Steve. And with that, we come to the end of Round Lounge for this week. Thank you to Saif and Steve, as always.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Wow. What's the line from Emperor's New Groove? You throw off my groove. I'm sorry, but you throw off the Emperor's Groove, and then we toss you out of the fucking palace.
Interesting how you're calling yourself an emperor.
Well,
interesting.
Hey,
the Emperor's New Host.
If I if I got to be a llama to steer the ship, then boy howdy, I will. Anyway,
this is where you'd make the llama noise, but I don't think you know that.
I thought about trying it. I'm just like, no, it's already gone bad. Let's not make it get worse. Anyway, in the wise words of Kronk, it's all coming together. Starting with news. There's no Alice sequel coming, thanks to EA.
Thanks, EA.
Next up in the news, I never really played either of the two Alice games. I heard about the second one, I think, but didn't play either. Did either of you play these?
I haven't. I know a lot about. Well, I've heard a lot about Madness Returns and people loving it.
That's the second one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
cool.
It's something I've been wanting to play for ages, just never got around to it, sort of thing. And I've only
I did play Madness
heard
Returns.
of American Bigie's Alice, which is the first one. Like, I didn't know that Madness Returns was a sequel until I looked into it some more.
I have played Alice Madness Returns. It ran.
Did the Madness Return?
Literally ran 10 frames a second. So I did not like that.
So you went mad playing it. Certified Kino.
Yeah, certified Framo.
Just like Bayonetta on PS3.
Yeah, so it was.
It's like getting witch timed in Smash, but in real life.
But at the same time, it's this story especially. It's like a who cares? Like it's been like what 13 years. Like nobody cares anymore. Either
12,
the guy that
actually.
the main director or writer for it wanted to do a third game and has been trying for a long time. Yeah, McGee pitched the project in 2017, and it seems like they've been trying to get it going for a while. And EA's just going, yeah, the series is important to us, but we're not going to do a new game. We will keep the IP, but we're not going to do anything with it.
That's the bit that fucking rubs me the wrong way, where it's like, can we do a new game? No. Okay, can I do a new game? Also no.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Yeah, and they've got a rough script and everything going on, and they want to tie up the loose ends that were left with Madness Returns. It's just very frustrating.
Like the Madness returned. That's all there is.
I'm assuming the Madness returned, and now we got to put the madness back.
Steve, can you confirm?
It's been so long. I fucking hated that game. It's a 3D platformer. I was fucking shit at it because it ran at fucking 10 frames a second.
Skill issue?
No, from the fucking game itself.
Well, anyway, sad news for Alice fans everywhere, I guess. But speaking of skill issues, Saif, how good are you at chess?
Not very.
How good are you at fighting games?
Pretty decent.
Okay, shit, I don't like my chances. Steve, how good are you at chess?
Amazing. Top 10 players of all time.
How good are you at fighting games?
Amazing. One of the top 10 players of all time.
I like his confidence. Hire him.
He's got chutzpah, I'll give him that. Well, the good news is then you might be one of the top 10 players of all time at the new chess fighting game, Checkmate Showdown.
I'm looking at this and I swear I played a fucking Xbox
a version
game.
of this on Miniclip 10 years ago.
I think I found it. There is a game called Wrath of the Titans that came out for the original Xbox. No, that's not it. Never mind, keep looking.
Give it another couple of guesses and you'll be as confident as me and get them all wrong.
No, it is called Wrath.
Wait.
It is called Wrath of the Titans.
Is it Ronin?
Is it Lies of P?
Crash of the No, it's not Crash of the Titans. It's a Crash Bandicoot game.
Is it Black Myth Monkey King?
Look, no. Continue your story. I will continue my Google foo. And let's see how we go.
Zeph, as a local game, local fighting game aficionado, what are your thoughts on this?
I think this is incredibly funny to see. Chess, as we all know, is a little outdated. Could use something fresh to push it to new heights. They tried what was it, last year with using vibrators to make plays. But that didn't go over too well.
What?
Oh, you didn't hear about the whole controversy about this player?
Butt plug gate.
Yeah, butt plug gate.
Butt plug gate. Shut up.
No, I did hear about that. I've forgotten the name of the guy, but
I never knew the name of the guy.
Neiman, Hans Neiman. Boom, got it.
There we go. Good old Hans Neiman trying to spice up chess.
Isn't it great that I'm shit at both chess and fighting games, and I can pull that name out of my ass like he did the butt plug in the chess game?
That was never confirmed.
But it was never denied. Actually, it was denied. It was denied pretty heavily.
Yeah, no, he got offered like several $100,000 to play a chess game naked.
Yeah, didn't he say he will play naked just to prove that he's not doing it?
I think conceptually it's very funny. I don't remember what happened with the rest of that story, but regardless.
But yeah, this is the other type of spice we needed where so it seems like pawns will just get taken over if they're hit. But if like a knight goes up against a rook, then it starts up a little fighting game, mini game between the players, and to whoever wins that fighting game match is the one that's left standing. To give some rules that they've given,
it's Wrath Unleashed.
Wrath Unleashed.
Yeah, it was like it. Okay, now that I'm looking at the Wikipedia article and pictures of this game, it wasn't chess. It was like a. It was
checkers, wasn't it?
No, it had like what are the hexagon type of things?
What? Settlers of Catan?
That kind of thing. It's a board over hexagonal spaces. I've completely derailed this conversation. I don't care about whatever we're talking about now.
Civilization?
Yeah, it's like Civilization, but it's got You know what? I don't. Let's just move on.
It is. I think this might be
It is a
Settlers of
video game, I know
Catan-ish.
Yeah. Wrath Unleashed is a chess-like game that combines strategy with combat. I literally said that. Yeah.
I'm glad we went
was,
on this tangent.
I'm not. If you're at home, want to play Wrath Unleashed, Google it. Watch some gameplay because I think I played a demo version of it and it wasn't very good.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
let's
back to Checkmate
let's-
Showdown.
yeah, let's talk about the defining factors. Did Wrath Unleashed have robot netcode, Steve?
Well, wait, steal my
don't
thunder.
Do not think it had online, actually.
That is what they call me, Mr. Host on the streets. Steal your thunder in the sheets.
Oh,
Actually, don't call me that.
Are you asking or saying that they don't?
Anyway, Saif, does this have rollback netcode?
It does. It's like the only thing we know about the game is that it has rollback netcode.
Yo, no way, that's crazy.
I can't believe it. They say they're planning a Steam release and maybe a PlayStation version down the line, and that's literally all we know about the game besides the one trailer they've shown.
Is this a game that you are keeping your eye on?
Oh, absolutely. I'm shit at chess, but I do like playing it, and it's just a funny way to play chess with people.
I wonder if there's going to be a game mode for suicide chess once this comes out. Trying
What?
to tactfully lose as much as you can.
Oh, okay.
It's like chess in reverse. The first person to lose all their pieces wins.
Right. That'd be interesting, but when you get to the fighting game part, it's just both players putting their controller down and waiting for the timer.
GG, shake my hand. Anyway, next up on the list, we have, wow, actually, speaking of lists, damn, what a segue. We have Gamescom 2023's announcement set for August 22.
I'm excited for our next list episode.
I am not.
We now have a date confirmed for the next list.
Steve, tiebreak. Yay or nay for a list?
no. Depending what's on the list.
Steven, you're meant to have my back on this one. You're always in support of lists.
Steve, a list could have anything in the world. It could even have a list.
I knew you were going there. It was too good to pass up.
It was. It really was. Speaking of things that are too good to pass up, Saif, are you getting the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster series?
I already have it on PC.
Saif, you're supposed to have my back in these.
I hope that so it's coming to PlayStation and Switch, and it's got some nice new things coming. I hope they come to the PC version so I don't have to double dip. This collection is expensive. It's $75.
Jesus. Actually, I think you did talk about that, but it's still very funny.
Yeah,
As someone who doesn't really care enough to buy it myself.
like individually the prices of each game seems fine. It's when you bundle all six together, it's like you could have discounted these a little bit more.
What about you, Steve? Interest in the Final Fantasy Pixel remakes?
Interested is very
Remaster, sorry.
strong. Yeah, I know what you mean. I not really, to be honest.
Give it a year and it'll be on Game Pass.
But debatable. I just don't think Final Fantasy 1 through 6 have what's the word I'm looking for? Have aged
Entertainment
very
value?
well. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Have aged very well. It doesn't seem very.
Out of those ones, I've only played 3 and 4, and I heavily disagree in the case of 4. 3 ages a little bit. I still enjoy that very much, but 4 is like it still holds up really well as like a person's first RPG experience.
Okay, let me ask you a question then. Is there any point in either of those games where you are forced to grind?
No, actually.
Okay, there's a bit of hesitation in there. Okay, question number 2.
It's me trying to remember because I played 4 about 10 years ago now, and I'm pretty sure I didn't have to grind in that game.
Okay, question number 2. Did it have random encounters?
It does, but
would you look at the time? Sorry.
Hold on. With this
Oh, no,
Pixel
hang on, let him
remaster, you can with this Pixel remaster on PS4 and Switch, you can get rid of both of those problems because they have a turn off random encounters button and an adjust experience button, so you get more XP per battle and more gil per battle. so you don't have to
okay.
grind as much.
All right. We might be onto something here.
The other two things that they also include in these releases is being able to change the soundtracks between the old versions and the new orchestral arrangements for the songs in all the games, and a option to change the font into something that looks readable instead of being the shitty mobile game fonts that everyone hated. On PC, that one's easy to fix because you just swap out the font style in the game's ini files. But the other things would be really nice to have come to Steam.
Yeah. But, all right, that does make it sort of a bit better in my eyes. $71, but that's American, isn't it?
Yeah, 75 American for all of them together.
Probably over 100. That's not on the Xbox, is it? Interesting. Probably no for me, dog.
I say give it a year and it'll be on Game Pass. I'm pretty sure they're just waiting for Xbox to give them a cash payment to put it on Game Pass before they port it.
Don't forget, and I'm surprised you don't know this already, Saif. As of the time of this recording, the 12th of April, there are no Final Fantasy games on Game Pass. They used to have a lot of them, and now they have none of them.
But they might have a lot of them again soon.
Maybe. Where's Final Fantasy 14, huh? This seems like very anti-consumerist by Sony. Where's Final Fantasy 16, huh?
Ask Yoshi P. He said at PAX he loves PlayStation.
Yeah?
Actually, no, that was his translator.
Yeah, he's translator. There you go. He probably says he hates PlayStation. But Jim Ryan was like, no, you can't say that, buddy.
That's a very bad British accent.
I can't do accents. Again, anyway, go forward.
All right. If you can't do accents, can you do Persona 3 remake rumors?
I'm begging you, Patrick, please don't give me hope.
I am puffing all of the hopium with this article.
Let's go a bit into Steven background. About once or twice a week, I'll go into once or twice a week, I'll go into gaming leaks and rumors, like the Reddit that Reddit channel, God forbid. And then a lot of it's like, oh yeah, that's cool. And then I saw this and I was like, surely that's not real. And then a bunch of other stuff started picking it up. I'm like,
and then there was a video clip, and then there was more video clips.
Yeah, and a video clip that included Jet Set Radio Future. Oh, mwah.
And then to add fuel to the fire, there were Sonic Frontiers clips that looks very real. So that adds credibility to things around it.
Okay, so let's start at the top. So this is literally just me screaming. So it's essentially Persona 3. I think her name is Akari. The videos of her Yukari. It's her drawing a bow.
Yeah, Yukari.
It doesn't matter. The footage is of her like drawing a bow and shooting it, and that's the only footage. And then it's like 30 seconds of Sonic, and then it's like 5 seconds of I think his name's Beat from Jet Set Radio.
Beat, Scum, and someone else. I think that might be a new character.
And they're boogieing, and that's fucking fantastic. It could be fan made. Let's not put the cart before the horse here and start pre-ordering games that don't exist. But then at the same time, there have been rumors floating around that there has been something in development for Persona 3, like a complete remake. And
the guy that runs Gamatsu has said they understand that there's been a remake in development for several years, but they can't comment on the validity of the footage itself. They've heard that Persona 3 remake is happening.
Yeah, and it's interesting that this video comes from an internal meeting from 2021. So it might be like, okay, cool, this is just sort of like a proof of concept. Now they would have fleshed it out. It probably, I'm not sure, I've seen differing arguments online about points for and against about the fact that Persona 3 Portable has been re-released, has essentially been ported to modern consoles, like the Switch, the Xbox, PlayStation, PC. It's all out there, as well as the other, just like Persona 4 and Persona 5. It'd be very interesting if Atlas was using that as like, oh, hey, like people are actually buying like these games. Or in my case, I just started up Persona 3 this afternoon because it's on Game Pass. It's like, okay, cool, let's look at these numbers. Oh, the numbers are pretty strong here. So it'd be very interesting to see if like that's why they did the ports, to be like, oh, that was very good.
I think this might have been in the cards for a long time, because even back when Persona 5 initially released, people data mined it and found assets that were Persona 3 related.
Yeah, wouldn't that turn out just be uniforms anyway? Like
it was like the dorm rooms were remade in Persona 5.
Oh, really? Oh, interesting. This is just a lot of hope. It's a lot of nothing will happen until it happens. Like, we are getting close to Gamer Christmas. It's like 2 months away now. So we might get the release date. Because when do those Persona 3, 4, and 5 get ported to everything else? That was
January, I think.
January? Yeah, it actually was January. Yeah, so maybe it'd be like, yeah, cool. We've crunched the numbers. People are excited. People like it. Play on.
Yeah, and also just the Jet Set Radio thing is also really hitting me, because I absolutely love Jet Set Radio. So having Persona 3 come back and Jet Set Radio it's hitting me so hard. I'm huffing all of the hopium and the copium if this doesn't end up being real. I may be legally required to stay on copium as my my mechanical lung.
Yeah, it definitely. Yeah, Jet
Have you
Set
tried
Radio.
vaping?
Oh, hang on.
That sounds
cheeky, mate.
Look, I may be huffing copium if this doesn't turn out, but I still better than vaping.
Just give yourself a nice hope vape cartridge. Get some elf bars that give you the old hopium and the copium.
Patrick, I'm going to ask very nicely that you never speak again.
It's like the soft serve swell from Dairy Queen. Do you want vanilla, chocolate, or a half and half mix?
We don't have Dairy Queen here, man. We get it. You went to Canada.
Next up. I'm really trying to find a fucking segue off that one. All I do is feel attacked.
You should get kicked off the podcast.
Next up, Steve gives us his whatever he was able to drudge up from the bowels of Kickstarter today update. Steve, what's the latest?
I didn't put this on the docket, but I have followed the link. But it's like a Kickstarter link, and Saif can explain it. But I'm looking at them. This is another. I'm going on a Kickstarter rabbit hole. There's this keyboard. It's a transparent keyboard that has an integrated display, and it has a $200,000 goal, and it's got $4 million. What the fuck? For people listening at home, if you want to look at what I'm looking at, Google Flux keyboard Kickstarter. It's fucking. I don't get it.
Yeah, I saw that project video pop up on YouTube. It's basically a modular keyboard that it's like you got like a transparent keys on top of an LCD screen, and you can change it so that all the keys change to like different languages or different shortcut commands.
Or potentially have a GIF image underneath it or something. It's cool, probably. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't mean to get us. What was your news story, Saif? I don't know.
Yeah, so
some bullshit.
A game I've been following for a while called
sounds like some bullshit.
A game I've been following for a while on Twitter called Geno Kids. It finally has its Kickstarter put up, so people can go and support it. This is
Saif, we told you to stay away from kids.
Oh, fucking got him.
This is a game being made by two brothers. And just
Saif.
two brothers. There's no washing machine involved. No drum kits. Actually, no, there is a drum kit. Hold on. The premise of the game is that it's an action game where you're controlling 4 different members of a band, and each band member has their own weapon that they specialize in. It's very heavily influenced by like DMC and Bayonetta sort of games. But having the weapons attached to characters kind of opens it up into weird ways that those games don't really get to explore with how you switch them out. So you have things like tag mechanics where if you're getting hit with one character, you can call in an assist with another character to come save your ass, or have start up a combo with one character and then switch to another character, and the combo from the first character will still keep going while you can focus on another enemy or juggle something else, or just double down on the first enemy that's being hit. It's a really interesting looking game. I really heavily ask people to go check out the Kickstarter, maybe support it if it interests you. And
It
just
was like Hi-Fi Rush.
yeah, a little bit. It's very more towards DMC than Hi-Fi Rush, because Hi-Fi Rush is more is trying to mix rhythm elements, while this is just using punk rock as an aesthetic rather than using rhythm elements in it. But yeah, looks really, really cool. I'm really excited for this.
The tiers are just various forms of fan. You got like mega fan, dripped fan, which is pretty sick. Hyper fan, metaphysical fan, hyperdimensional acrylic fan, everlasting fan, in universal fan. What else we got? Ultra universal fan, Zenodian demiurge and fan. I don't even know those fucking words. Yeah, interesting.
Okay, all right. So, sorry, Steph. I'm derailing you.
Whoa,
So,
hold up.
as someone,
For the small price of 750 euros, I could get a digital copy of it, design an enemy, become a fan in-game tier 2, leave my mark in the game, get 2 times physical acrylic stands, get 4 character keychains, get a signed concert poster, beta access, Discord VIP channel, a Kickstarter skin, the digital soundtrack, the digital art book, the digital wallpaper set, a Discord backer badge, and my name in the credits is Diamond.
That sounds like a bargain, dude.
Say less.
yeah, I don't care about this game anymore. What I have been looking at, I went onto Indiegogo and I found as someone that owns a big cat that does very smelly poos, I found a self-cleaning litter box. And let me just read you a sentence.
This sounds like a scam.
Please don't.
It is. Maximize your cat's preference for privacy during toilet time by enhancing your cat's feeling of security and safety by protecting them from the outside elements. It's literally just an enclosed space, and I said, "Oh yeah, it needs his privacy." Fucking idiot. Cat. It does seem like it's pretty cool, but I don't know. $733.
Bro, that's worth more than the cat.
No, you got to breed. Anyway, look, it doesn't matter. The point is we should move on, and I should close all these tabs before I do something I regret. Segue.
I kind of want to see where this goes.
I do want to throw one more thing into the table for Geno Kids, and it's that they've already got a couple of the voice casts shown for the game, and the main character, Blue, is being voiced by Kira Buckland, which most people will know for her talents as 2B and Jolene. So that's a pretty good name to get attached to this.
Jolene.
Glad someone else is sharing my one brain cell currently.
And for Red, they've got this guy named Gott Vestgrong, which seems to be a musician. I don't see any voice acting credits. This is all like music links.
Very interesting. Anyway,
a Norwegian rock and metal player.
I have to go check it out. Next up, anything else you want to hit, Seth? We're good to move on.
No, that's it. That's good to move on. Go
Sweet.
check out Geno Kids.
And we're going to move along to the fact that Ghostwire Tokyo is now available for Xbox Series. I did not play Ghostwire Tokyo. Did either of you?
I did not, but I heard it's pretty decent.
Really? I heard it was mid.
Yeah, I heard it was mid too.
Maybe pretty decent is being too nice. I heard it's like a 7.
Yeah. Roughly what I've heard as well, but that's definition of mid for me. It's cool. It's coming to Game Pass with DLC and stuff. But I don't care.
And
it
also adds a whole new
sleep.
DLC with a roguelite element. So, infinite replayability.
Speaking of infinite, Joseph Staten is set to leave Microsoft, which you might know as the Halo Infinite head of creative.
He was also head cinematic director and writer for Halo
Patrick,
1 through
that was
3.
perhaps the greatest segue in the history of segues. No, don't worry about it. I only had to like...
You've got to be more creative about it.
I'm saying this in like a supportive way of you've had better ones.
I was proud of that one. Anyway, fucking read the article. I'm gonna sit here quietly.
Yeah, so just Joseph Staten, he worked on as writer and cinematic director for Halos 1 through 3. then left Microsoft and then came back to help with Halo Infinite and became the head of creative for that game. And now he's left again. We don't know what he's going to be moving on to. He hasn't spoken about that. But not looking great for Halo at the moment. A lot of people that I've seen online are like really dreading Halo's future now that he's gone.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that ever since 343 took the wheels, Halo has sort of been in sort of a death spiral. And like Halo 4 was all right. Halo 5 was fucking shit. The Master Chief Collection, from my understanding, was like broken on release. Like if you wanted to play multiplayer, if you wanted to play single player, that's fine. And that's how I play them, so I really don't care.
I hear it still has issues. Like people keep saying
Really?
it's fixed and it's fine now, but I've been hearing a lot of people say no, there's still a lot of really bad issues with it.
Which is a shame. Yeah, and Halo Infinite launched very well, but apparently the content has not been up to scratch. A couple of things, like they'll do a new season. It's like, oh, hang on, you can't play it for 2 days. They've broken something.
Have they put split screen in it yet?
I believe they have, yes.
I think they canned split screen.
Sure about that? I thought they could. Let me quick fact check on that. Because I know you can do. They brought in co-op, and the fact they didn't have co-op on releases.
I heard from what I remember. Right. Yeah.
No. Go on. Does Halo Infinite have split screen? It does not have split screen multiplayer yet. That's unfortunate. Yeah.
As far as I know, they said they had it planned, and they cancelled it.
Yeah, anybody even play split screen? Like, it's one of the things like, oh, it should have split screen. It used to in the old days, but like, I don't care. Like, who's like, there might be, and this just might be me. I
always go with the argument that just because it might be a very small thing, like handful of people will use it, it should still be in there for those handful of people. Like, I know split screen was a lot more popular in the older days when there was no online, and then online basically killed it. But having split screen is an appreciated feature.
I just wondered if like it's people want it for the sake of wanting it, and like they'll use it once or twice and be like, all right, I won't do it anymore.
I don't think it matters.
TVs aren't Square anymore. Actually, we're going back to Borderlands 3 chat. I had to do a thing, like I had to send someone a gift online, so I just made a guest account, which you couldn't use a guest account. I had to fucking create a new Microsoft account to do it. And like, so Borderlands 3 does have split screen, and it looks fucking dog shit because it's fucking 16:9 split in half, and it's like, huh?
Oh, they did it the wrong way.
Well, how else could you do it? Like
Resident Evil 5 and Killzone 3, when I played those, they keep the 16:9 aspect ratio, and they just kind of have like one in the top left corner, one in the bottom right corner, and it's like black squares where at the end of either side.
Oh, that sounds fucking horrifying. Jesus Christ.
It's you at least get the full picture view without it being squished.
You know what? I think they should do a split screen like a grilled cheese, just diagonally down the middle.
Oh, hang on.
Yeah,
let them cook. Let them cook. I don't know where I'm going with this, but yeah, it's a shame that Joseph is leaving to bring us back to the top. It seems like Halo Infinite's in a bit of a fucking death spiral. Maybe I'll go back and play Halo Infinite, actually. They've got a new season that just came out.
All I do when I see any Halo news is just think about the Crowcat videos talking about Bungie versus 343 and the release of recent Halo games and things, and then I watch those and then I get sad.
I do not know those videos. What are they? So I can add them to my watch list.
It's
Bungie versus 343.
Just YouTube, like basically Halo and Crowcat, and you'll find it in there.
Found it.
I love Croby Cat's videos, especially when they're the ones that make me sad, like that Halo one.
Yeah, or the Left 4 Dead 2 versus Back 4 Blood. Fuck, that one hurts as well. Pretty much all of them, actually. His whole shtick is making you feel bad and nostalgic. God damn, does it work. Anyway, sad news for Halo. I realize this isn't in the docket, but I'm just tossing it in here now because I realized we haven't talked about it. Need for Speed Unbound got an update. It basically added a whole bunch of features that should have been in on release. And I'm grateful that they're in there now, like the ability to skip music tracks during a race, even though there's a skip music button, which Jesus Christ, what are you guys doing? But might return to it, might not. Anyway, update's out. I just wanted to get my 2 cents out there. Haven't played it since the update, but pretty much everything on the patch list is stuff that you look at and go, I can't believe that wasn't in the base game.
Yeah, very strange.
It was just triggered off of talking about the co-op that you expect would be in the base game and it wasn't.
Are you going to go back to it?
Well, I just said I might do, I might not. I don't know.
I wanted more definite, and I thought I'd forget you on that.
Okay, well, honestly, probably not. I played it for the single player. The single player is finished. The updates are a few quality of life things for single player, but most of them were like, here's how to make the multiplayer experience not shit, such as adding cops online, because fuck me for thinking that online Need for Speed would include cops. Anyway, there's no fun segue in or out of that. I'm, as I say, glad that it's there, but just bitterly disappointed that it took them this long to put it in. And my copium is still saying that I really enjoyed Need for Speed Unbound, but I definitely get where everyone else is coming from as to, like, what the hell is Need for Speed doing? Rest in peace, Criterion. Anyway, next up on the list, some hot news from the fighting games field. Mr. Rollback Netcode himself, Saif, take us through the Tekken news.
Yeah, so over the weekend, Harada just decided he's going to answer a lot of people's questions on Twitter and just give away features that'll be in Tekken 8. So we now know that Tekken 8 will have rollback netcode, have crossplay, and have more characters at launch than Street Fighter 6 will. So Street Fighter 6, I think, is confirmed to have 18 characters at launch.
And so Tekken will now have 18 and a half.
Tekken 7, when it came to consoles, was at 30, but that's kind of cheating because it came out in arcades like 3 years earlier with 20. So I feel like 20 should be the baseline minimum to expect.
Do any of these announcements make you more excited for Tekken 8?
Crossplay is really good. I really appreciate him saying, yeah, crossplay will be in the game, because that means it doesn't matter where I buy it, I'll be able to play it with any of my friends, no matter where they buy it.
See, I don't like that because I kind of want to play Tekken 8, but I don't want the anxiety of thinking that you could see that I'm online.
Oh, don't worry, I'm going to be getting a cheater box for Tekken 8 soon.
Okay,
What?
here we go. You've got me. What the fuck is a cheater box?
It's the hitbox controller. I'm pretty sure I've talked about.
I can answer this. Steve, you know how you were on Indiegogo and just looked up boxes for your cats to take shits in?
Yes.
Think of a cheetah as like a very big cat.
It's like a lion?
You know what? Yeah, just like a lion, Steve. Don't let anyone tell you different.
You said it's a big cat.
It's true.
So
Seth,
I'm pretty sure
you can lie in it.
I'm pretty sure I've talked about this before on the podcast, but it's a controller called a hitbox, which is basically an arcade stick, but you take away the stick and replace all the directions with buttons instead.
What?
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. It's just literally a
You can do
it's an arcade stick.
Yeah, but by
Without
making
the stick.
yeah, by making the directions buttons instead, you can do a lot of weird shit with movement tech and shortcuts that arcade stick doesn't have access to. Because
Actually,
you can press left and right at the same time to do certain things, and it makes certain tech in Tekken a lot easier to do.
So
you are cheating using that. Now I think about it.
Just revisiting what I said just before. If I get Tekken 8 and I already have anxiety about you seeing that I'm online, this just reinforces that.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited to give you that anxiety attack.
I do not want to play with you.
We won't play together, but you'll see me pop up being online, and you'll dread the name.
I will.
You'll quit. You'll quit out of the game right away.
I'm sorry you're getting filtered so
X
hard you have to
for
cheat.
420 has never instilled so much fear in me as he does right now.
Sorry you need to cheat to get good.
I
Literally
don't need to, it just makes it easier.
Yeah? But like, it just makes it, it's easier to buy like furniture online, but it's hard to build it with your own bare hands, and you actually feel like you've gotten really good at it.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I know, I'm comparing cheating in a video game to building furniture.
I was also going to say people play on mouse and keyboard Tekken for the exact reason that Hitbox lets you do the same sort of shortcuts.
They're cheating as well. You know what? If you're actually playing Tekken,
is it really cheating if the game lets you use different types of controllers?
Yes.
Well, the game lets you just put in like a cheats to give me infinite health. Like, yeah, if it lets me do it, it's fine.
Seth, if we're in the same room and the game lets me beat you over the head while we're in split screen,
that's not the game letting. That's not the game letting you do that. That's just you doing it out of impulse.
I don't see the game stopping me, Seth.
The game not saying don't stop.
At no point does the EULA flash up saying, "Do not smack the person next to you over their head with a shovel when you're playing against them in split screen."
Look, all I'm going to say is that rules in games never mattered because people ignore the rules for Uno.
You know what? You're right. There are official rule sets for Uno, and then there are more fun ways to play.
And you know what? I think that's all the legal
and there's a
precedent.
correct way to play.
You know what, Seth? Draw 16.
Yeah.
It just says draw 16. There's no or here.
No, I'm with Steve.
It's like saying It's like people saying that you're cheating if you're reading the back of the cards in Uno reverse.
Wasn't it Uno that came out and said that you shouldn't be able to play +4 draws on each other, and everyone went, "Shut up, you're wrong."
Yeah. The Uno accounts have come out and said a lot of things about how people should play Uno, and they're always told, "Shut up, you're wrong." If you don't have a card to play, you only draw one. No, shut up. Keep drawing until you can play a card.
Yeah, no, facts. Oh, man. Speaking of things that Uno is wrong about, Uno wanted to side with Monster Energy, trying to sue a bunch of different games for use of the word monster. And I think we all know what we have to say. Shut up, Uno, you're wrong.
Yeah, no, shut the fuck up, Uno. This is the worst case you've taken yet.
This isn't even about you.
And
Sit
yet
in
you've
the corner and draw 16.
This isn't about Uno, and yet you've shoved your head into it. What are you doing? You're not Wendy's.
It's true.
Wendy's
anyway,
what?
Monster Energy decided that that not only was the image of being called Kyle and smashing your hand through the wall related, like such stereotyped images related to Monster, but in fact anything with a green M on a black background could be stereotyped to Monster.
They're fucking insane. I hope that this comes back in their face.
That's fine. Didn't they do this with Immortals Phoenix Rising? That Ubisoft game that came out like 3 years ago. It was
Did they?
supposed to be called. Yeah, it was supposed to be called Gods and Monsters, and Monster Energy Drink was like
none of that.
no. Yeah, but I was like, no.
I don't think Monster
own the word
Energy had
monster.
anything to do with that. I think Ubisoft just backed out.
Well, no, they said something. It was like, oh, hey, if you do that, we're gonna do something, and they were like, yeah, we don't care about the name, whatever. Back to the drawing board. It was just a very weird thing to do.
Well, the weird part of this is that Monster Energy Drink is deciding, you know what? Let's not only take on some indie title, which I have the name of, Dark Deception Monsters and Mortals, but they decided that they're going to use that as precedent to try and go after Monster Hunter and Pokemon.
They're insane for going after those two specifically.
Nintendo might be like, oh, hey, you're actually emulating Pokemon. Straight to jail. I don't know.
My favorite take on this was brought to you by Anon on Facebook, who said that this is simply a publicity stunt to get people to remind people that Monster is a thing because no one has bought a single can of Monster Energy Drink since 2017. And I know it's factually incorrect, but it's very funny to think about that.
Yeah, a guy in my office has one every day.
I thought my brother might, but no, he has Rockstar.
They're the better ones. Actually, no, Red Bull. Actually, no, the ones you get from Audi, they're called Flying Powder. Flying Power. Ugh, not powder. They're like $3 for like 4 of them. It's very good. Num num num.
Gotta love all that caffeine, which I assume is the main ingredient that they use.
I thought the main ingredient was monsters.
Made from real monsters.
Well, what the reason? Okay, so here's another Stephen backstory moment.
Oh God, it's
so I was
already
scared of
so dark.
I was scared out of the monsters under my bed, right? So me and the girlfriend upgraded the bed to be one of those floating beds. It's got the there is no under the bed, so then I beat the monsters.
Hang on, is this Stephen backstory lore from 2 months ago?
No, it's from when we moved into this house. It is in August 2022.
Okay.
The deepest lore.
Still more recent than I thought it should be, but anyway.
No one's asked, but fun Saif facts. I have one of those beds that I have one of those beds that has gas suspension in them, so you can lift it up and store things underneath the bed.
You know
fuck, he's got hydraulic beds. He's pimped his bed.
You know what? I don't think that was fun, and I'm not even sure if that was about Saif.
What
it is something I own.
What type of bed do you have, Pat? Surely you don't just have a mattress raw dogging on the floor, do you?
I mean, that is very soulful if he does.
I have one of those. Oh shit! It was one of those. It was one of those dumb inventions that every CEO bought to look cool, where it was like the ancient, like no, I'm not serious. I just sleep on a regular fucking bed. But
what was that company we were talking about in like episode 10 or something? And they did like outside furniture. Never mind. Sorry, you continue your story.
No, I'm just. Oh no. You know what it was? It was that like craze, and I use that term in the loosest of definitions because only the fucking weirdly rich people bought one. But it was that like wooden Japanese pillow that the samurai used to use. That was uncomfortable as hell, but the whole thing was that it promised like either like better sleep or waking up better in the mornings. And a whole bunch of CEOs were like, yeah, I use this and I wake up really well. And you look at it and it honestly looks like the kind of bed of nails type torture device.
I mean, that just sounds like something that CEOs would sleep on.
I'm not even sure if it has any benefits. I reckon they just do it. That way they can like seem cooler to their other CEO friends.
I googled samurai bed, but I didn't get it. It's just a bunch of bed covers with samurai on them. I sleep in a big bed with that guy's wife.
Fuck, that shouldn't have got me.
Saif, do me a favor and shut the fuck up.
I can't now. I just wasn't expecting it. I was Googling outdoor bed as he said that.
Like you even like spluttered too. That's so bad.
Yeah, it'd be like that. Yeah,
it do be like that sometimes.
I don't know how we got here.
This is the thing that I'm talking about, which I will upload to a chat that no one in the audience can see.
Maybe if you joined our Patreon, you would be able to see it.
Join the Patreon, but you still won't be able to see it. Sorry, that's just how it is.
The fuck?
That looks like one of those horse torture devices.
Yeah, so remember that episode of The Simpsons where Homer becomes a chiropractor by literally pushing people over?
No. Steve, shut up for a sec. Saif, what the fuck do you mean horse-specific torture device? Who would build a device to torture horses?
No, it's the torture device that's shaped like a horse.
The mayor of Troy. I know that Greek reference is probably not that good. Yeah, very rogue.
It's just called a wooden horse.
You sure he's in Troy?
Imagine going to bed and then kissing your homies goodnight and then finding out they sleep on one of those bad boys.
Oh my god, I'm seeing a fucking medieval drawing of people just sawing a person in half while they're upside down, so it's from the genitals first.
I typed in wooden horse bed and I didn't get it. So a lot of beds with like...
Okay. Oh my god, this went sideways so quickly.
Okay.
This is what you get for bringing in torture devices.
Hang on, this is another funny
pillows,
video.
They're for sleeping.
Okay, so to describe what I just posted, to describe what Saif just posted, it's literally like a cylinder laid flat with like a mattress on it, which is fucked. And what I just posted is it's like a bed frame, but it's got, you know, those jumping things for like what horses need to jump over in shows. I don't know, it's not fun anymore. Let's move on. We got really off topic. Speaking of getting a new game.
Go on, finish it up.
God of War Ragnarok is getting a New Game Plus update that is available now.
Available right now.
I have not played this game. I will play it soon. But I think there is someone in this chat that has played it. Do you want to talk about it?
Hey, Patrick, do you remember how I ended my God of War Ragnarok review?
No.
I said something along the lines of...
Wait, sorry, hang on. No, for podtent, yes, of course I do, as your favorite podcast host that remembers every episode we've done. But why don't you tell Steve, because he's a moron who doesn't remember.
I remember at some point in that review saying that while I enjoyed the game, this is the type of game I will play once and never play again. And having New Game Plus does not entice me to go back and play the game again because, my god, that game is long.
Yeah, fair.
Not even in like 2 years' time or something?
Probably not, honestly. Especially if things are unskippable, and they've added a lot of things in here that I'd just say, why this doesn't seem fun.
Okay, Seth. Okay. What if you wanted to play the game in black and white render mode?
I mean, that's fine.
Then,
I don't have
boy,
a problem
do I
with
have news for
filters.
you.
I think they're ugly, but sure.
Well, literally, from the Gematsu article, looking to experience the story again with a more cinematic twist. After beating the game once, you will have access to a new black and white render mode. Fuck. Just because you have something in black and white doesn't make it fucking cinema. God, I hate
Ghost of
Dark Souls.
Tsushima did it right when they added the film grain and like cigarette burns.
Oh, that was because it was supposed to be like
A Kurosawa movie. They did it correctly.
That was it, yeah.
Pokemon Legends: Arceus did it correctly when they sucked the life out of everything on screen.
Oh boy, here we go.
So for the things that I'm here like, why this doesn't seem fun, one of the new things they've added is Spartan armor, which keeps you permanently locked at power level 1 and gives you no perks and no stats. So you're
That
at like
shit.
the absolute weakest you can be in a game where the power level matters a lot and things will just one-shot you if they're like 2 or 3 levels above you. This sounds extremely frustrating and unfun.
I do like how they talk about how using that means that you can, if you beat the game, you'll be beating the game pecs first.
Yeah. They've also added a thing called burdens, where there's things like negative gameplay effects where like if you dodge, there's a chance that you'll get frost status effects on you. And again, it's like, why? This doesn't seem fun. This just seems frustrating. It's all in the name of yeah, sorry. They're saying it's all in the name of ramping up the difficulty of the game, but this isn't ramping up difficulty in the game in a natural way. This is adding bullshit mechanics that make the game frustrating and stupider to deal with.
I reckon this was a psychotic dev that for an April Fool's joke released just a patch to an internal, I don't know, game server or something that just made the game stupid fucking hard. And then Santa Monica looked at that and went, we could market this.
Post it.
It's in there. We can't remove it. Something that they did add that's like, this is more difficult but in the right direction is that they've also added a Spartan shield from God of War Chains of Olympus. And what they've done for that is that they've just tightened up the parry window compared to what the Guardian shield is. But it also gives you a higher reward if you time it correctly. And it's like, yeah, no, that's nice. Make the parry tighter to be more punishing, but giving a higher reward for doing it on time is a good way to change the difficulty a little. So it's like a weird mix of, here's a bunch of stuff that's frustrating, but here's something that's actually well designed.
I have not yet finished God of War Ragnarok. I think from when we last talked about it, Saif was saying I was less than halfway through it, which, oh boy.
Yeah, I think I might have even said you're like a third of the way in.
Yeah, because I'd just gone through the scene that made me think way too much of Tom Holland and Zendaya.
Yeah.
And
it made me think of the latest season of Stranger Things a lot. Big, just from how it was paced.
Yeah, fair. Anyway, yeah, good news to all the New Game Plus fans out there, I guess.
If you like God of War Ragnarok enough to play it a second time, I wish you luck, and I hope you come out a better person after it.
That's an absolute lie. You know that they won't.
Yeah, you're right. Hell, I didn't come out a better person after finishing it first time.
You've been on a steady decline since you started this podcast.
I've been in a steady decline since I was born.
No, I don't know. I think you peaked at like. Actually, I'm not going to finish that thought. Finally, in the news this week, the absolute state of play is coming. Technically today, my time, but tomorrow for everyone else.
Yeah, what time is this actually?
Swagger clock.
Swagger clock. I mean, 5 p.m. Eastern. That's
yeah. That'll be. I think that'll be
That's a few
Friday
hours
9
away.
a.m.
If you click the YouTube link, it says 32 hours.
Yeah, so
Notify me. Hit that. Smash that bell.
yeah, so it'll be Friday morning for me.
For us, and then just like the like Bugs Bunny.
I assume you guys will not be watching this, and I'll be the only one to do it.
Probably fair, actually. Yeah. Especially because there are 20 minutes of Final Fantasy 16 gameplay, which...
So here's the thing. I'm not sure if I'm going to watch it because I already feel like I'm full with Final Fantasy 16 footage, and I don't know if I want to see more, especially 20 minutes more.
I don't know how to help you.
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds like a you problem, big fella.
That PAX presentation they showed at the end of last month, I think it was. That was really good and went into a lot of things that I was interested in. So I don't know how much more of Final Fantasy 16 I want to see before I buy it. And I'm starting to get to the point where I'm scared they might spoil something too early.
Well, just don't watch it then.
I may.
You know what? He's right.
But on the plus side, they did say there's going to be other things at the state of play. So I might just watch those and then tune out when Final Fantasy 16 pops up. So I look forward to seeing what the other things are. A lot of people are coping and hoping for a Street Fighter 6 beta announcement.
That'd be cool. You reckon it's going to be VR stuff?
Maybe.
Yeah, no, it's not. The VR's fucking dead.
Oh yeah, apparently the VR sold really poorly, and Sony might like people are saying Sony will already want to do a price drop. But at the same time, it's Jeff Grubb saying that, and he's got a very low batting average.
Don't say fuck you. Jeff Grubb's amazing. I listen to him in the Giant Bombcast. I love him. He's very funny. Fuck you.
And when it comes to leaks and rumors, he's got a very low batting average if it's not something he's stolen from someone else.
Oh, here we go. He's stolen from someone else. He just... Well, doesn't Wario 64? Doesn't Rebellion? Don't they all steal it from somebody else?
What the fuck do you think we do?
We repost.
We borrow.
We do not steal.
My points being that if Jeff Grubb isn't repeating it from someone else, and this is something that he's saying as like his insider rumor, then it's a low batting average of being correct. So on the PSVR 2 price drop, I'm not 100% certain on if that'll happen very soon.
We'll have to do something that's not selling.
Yeah.
Watch it. Okay, Steve, hear me out. It's not selling. They introduced PSVR 2 to Xbox Game Pass.
Hang on. Whoa. Hang on. I think you might have just saved PlayStation. You know what? You're right. Microsoft will buy Sony. That's the state of play.
The absolute state of play.
That would be the absolute state of play.
Absolute final state of Sony. They'll be like, yep, sorry, Microsoft won. And then Microsoft proceeds to be like, hey, Game Pass costs $30 million. And it's just... Your Xbox is now a subscription.
Game Pass costs $30 million only for people that buy it from Turkey.
You know what? Just because just because I remembered about it now, and I think it'll be really funny to bring up randomly. Apparently, Sony said that part of the 10-year deal that Nintendo signed is that Nintendo has to pay Microsoft a minimum amount of money to get Call of Duty on the Switch.
Oh, man, even when they're losing, Microsoft cannot stop fucking winning. Fucking shit.
So Nintendo signed a 10-year deal where they get Call of Duty, but they have to pay Microsoft for it to come out there.
Actually, you know what? We're going to toss this in here as well.
Did Jeff Grubb say that?
The Super Mario movie has smashed every record for opening weekend animated box office, so I think Nintendo could afford it. I'll be honest.
You know what? You're right. They should charge Nintendo more for Call of Duty.
Now we're thinking.
And no, this isn't from Jeff Grubb. It's from some internal documents that have a lot of shit redacted, Steve.
Let's see how we go.
It's basically Sony bitching and whining about why the 10-year deal is shit.
Big surprise. A company that wants to make more money is like, you know what? These terms are unfavorable. I know what I've got. Then Sony's like, wait, don't take Call of Duty away from me.
No low balls. I know what I've got.
We had a good deal running here. We don't want to lose that.
It's the only deal they've got. Funny, Sony, yeah, look, let's not get into this. State of play is in 32 hours.
The absolute state of play will be revealed.
All will be revealed. But we will have to wait for that news because, unfortunately, we don't have that news to hand, and so we are out of news to share. This means that we are at the end of the news section for this week. do we want to tease anything coming up for the sweet, sweet, nice episode 69 that will be next week?
I'm probably going to buy 20 litres of mouthwash. Am I right, fellas?
No.
What? Where did that come from?
For episode 69.
Oh, right.
Actually,
okay,
fuck
yep.
it. Oh, here we go. Now I'm the crazy one. Yeah, cool. All right. Whatever, it's fine. I'm watching the Mario movie tomorrow.
Based.
So I'll report on it. If it's a bad movie, I will literally poo myself because those tickets were $25.
Are you going to maintain eye contact with your cat while you do it, or?
I'm going to the movies. The cat is not allowed into the movies.
You'll just hold into shit till you get home and then shit in its litter box.
Assert dominance.
Hang on, let him cook. That's
get one of those private ones though.
One of those private $750 ones.
The cooking one. The self cleaning one. So nobody will know.
The movie tickets being $25 is making me think maybe I'll wait for the Mario movie to come out on streaming services because apparently it's coming out in a month.
Allegedly, if you believe the rumors. Whoops. I just transferred $25 to someone and I accidentally...
And it was not me for the movie ticket.
It wasn't for you. I accidentally replied to the automatic bank message with thank you.
I'm sure the bank bot will be really appreciative of that thank you.
You know what? You just delayed the robot uprising by another day. Thanks, Steve. Thank you for your service.
Don't forget to tip your robot automated messages.
Robot bank bot.
I, for one, welcome our robot overlords.
Oh, man.
I'll probably be playing more Wo Long, and I might jump onto Celeste to have a more informed talk about that with you next week, Patrick.
Sounds good.
And how about you? Do you have any teasers?
Well, maybe a bit more of Celeste, but the main one will be that album. I am super looking forward to it. I need to go and find some time to just really absorb that because I've been waiting for new Daughter music for a while, and the singles they've released make me think that this could be a really good album. So let's hope I am right.
I'm happy for her. You should give her some more pocket money.
Oh my fucking god.
Very funny. I also like that guy's wife.
You're already making next week's episode less nice, and we can't have that.
No, I'm getting it all out this episode so that next week's episode can be maximum nice.
Well, we will have to wait and see. If you've liked what you've heard, feel free to give us a like, subscription, follow, or whatever else on the podcast platform you're listening to us on. You can get in touch. We're on Facebook, Fast Travel Lounge, Gmail, fasttravellounge@gmail.com, or Twitter. While it's still called Twitter, we'll have to see if we have to change that social plug later on. Thanks, Elon. At Fast Travel Lounge, minus one of the L's. The L, of course, constantly being taken up by Elon Musk. Until then, I have been Patrick and been joined by Saif and Steve. You've been listening to Fast Travel Lounge, episode 68, and we'll catch you next time. Goodbye.
Happy birthday, ice cream cake. Nom 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 nom.